just thought I'd start with some light music to make your day. Oh my God, this is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. Sally, thumbs up when you're ready to come up here. You're ready. Okay, let's bring her up. Dun, dun, dun. Sally, I'm going to have you go out and then come back into the app because you're a little fuzzy again. That happened earlier today. So we're going to have her drop out and have her come right back in. We're talking about this book, Wellness for Winners. And let me see, I have no way to put it on the screen without covering up my face. So I'll just cover up my face. Why not? Wellness for Winners. Oh my gosh. We launched this book officially this morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time. And within the first 2 hours, it hit number one. Whoop, whoop.
Is that any better?
Let me see what happens. Do you have your earbuds in?
No, not yet.
Okay, we got to have that because we get feedback. So within 2 hours, we're number one best-selling book. So exciting. We have a lot of authors that we're going to be interviewing today. We interviewed, I don't even know how many, 12, 13 earlier today. There's a total of 30 in the book. So excited about bringing them into this, like what we're doing, because we love it so much. It's really fueled our own lives personally, but also the connections that we've made with other people along the journey. So today's book is Wellness for Winners, and I'm going to be bringing up our first guest, Katya. And wait, hold on a second. I'm looking for something. You know, have you ever had that time, Sally, where you're looking for something? You don't
what are you looking for?
Yeah. What am I looking for? Someone tell.
Going into the room and not remembering what you went in there for?
Oh my gosh. Yes. I've had that happen on too many occasions. Let's see here. So Katia is probably laughing at, yep, she's laughing at us. I can see her. She's like, what are these ladies doing here? Oh no, you're driving. Oh, can you pull over? Can you pull over, Katia?
I am going to try. I'm right now in the middle of the highway in traffic, but I might want to, let me see if I can, without killing myself.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what we're going to do is I'm going to send you into the lobby.
Go to a parking lot.
Yeah, give me the thumbs up when you've pulled over, because I do not want to be a cause of an accident. So I'm just going to put you back in the lobby. We'll bring you back up when you're ready. Okay. Yeah. No pressure on that. It's all good. I want to make sure she's safe. That's the most important piece here. So we're launching this book, Wellness for Winners. It's been in the works since about a year ago that Sherry Leopold and Evan Trad had this idea of putting together this book about wellness. And it was originally called a different name. And something happened along the journey that, I noticed that they were not able to publish their book. And so I just reached out to Sherry and I was like, hey, Sherry, would you like us to publish it for you? And she was so ecstatic. And so, here we are, with this book. Today is big launch day. And Sally, share the news about Tony Robbins.
Yeah. So, here we are. We put our Wellness for Winners up on Amazon. And when we looked at it last week, I texted Linda and I said, you do realize that Tony Robbins just released his book this week too. So he was in a lot of our different categories. And I was like, oh, but we, so today we went out there, we're pushing this book out there. We have our 30 authors all pushing it out to their family and friends and everybody on social media. And we went ahead of him in two of his different in his audio books and his. So we're number 14 and he's number 23.
And we're looking at moving even further.
We want to go even further.
Yeah, we're going to beat out Arthur Brooks. We don't know who he is, but we're coming after you, Arthur. We are coming after you. It's been a lot of fun. I love doing these because not only the fun I have, because fun is very important to me. It's one of the most important things for me to make sure I have as much fun as possible for the rest of my life, So this is a lot of fun, but I love bringing together the authors, collaborating, and then these relationships that get created. And there's actually two of the last books, The Fearless Entrepreneurs and Invisible No More, Invincible Forevermore. I noticed last week that an author from each book has connected with each other. So the connections that are made through these books, it's not only in the book that you're in, but it's also in the other books that are, part of the collaborative process. And so I really love what we're doing here because, bringing people together to share their stories is amazing, not only for themselves, but also for those lives that they're going to impact by sharing their stories. And Sally, why don't you share with us, we got a couple more minutes, we'll bring Katia up, but share with us, what has your journey been like since you joined your very first collaboration book?
Well, that's it. And I was going to say, that's kind of where we started, you and I, is that very first collaboration book. And we both raised our hand. We both said yes to being in that book, and look where it's brought us. So it does, it hasn't even been 2 years. The book that me and Linda were in together launched in October of 2020. It was our pandemic project, and I said yes. I had no idea who any of these people were. I had my own little circle of family and friends, and I was kind of happy with it. But I was always into the self-help sphere. I was a huge Tony Robbins, a huge Wayne Dyer fan. I read all of their books, The Secret and all of that stuff. I was always researching and doing more. In fact, I'm a law of attraction practitioner with Joe Vitale from The Secret. And so I've taken courses, I've done different things with that. And so when I was asked to be in my first collaboration book, I was like, all right, you know what, I'll do this. But as I kept going, opportunities started. I started, connecting with all of these great people, and they were inviting me to come onto their networking events and come to their masterminds and interview. They wanted to interview me on their podcast. So I was like, well, I got to start something and interview them. So then I started, but I had never interviewed anybody in my life. And I started my own little YouTube show. And I remember the first one I had on, I was, scared. And I was like, well, what if she doesn't show up? What if nobody watches? And, all that stuff. And I think at that time, Linda was kind of coaching me through the whole process. And I called her up and said, I don't want to do this. And she's like, you're doing it. Yes, you did. You're doing it.
And you did do it.
And I did do it. And I did it afraid. Like Linda said, just do it. And I kept going. And there were times, through that whole process that I wanted to quit. But I just kept going.
And you just kept going. And so what's the result from just keeping on going?
Yeah, this. I'm having this. What? We just beat Tony Robbins.
The guy that you look up to, right? Like you've read all of his books.
And he started me on this process back in I went to go see him live before he was even Tony Robbins. He was Tony Robbins, but he wasn't Tony Robbins. If you know.
Oh, that's awesome.
This was 1988. He was nobody knew who he was. He was here in Hartford, in Connecticut here, and nobody knew who he was. And a friend of mine got a ticket, and she's like, this guy's on here, you want to go? She bought the ticket for her and her husband got sick and couldn't go. So she said, I just want to go. I'll drive. You don't even have to pay for the ticket. I had no idea who he was, what I was getting, and at that time, nobody knew who he was.
You're like, is there going to be popcorn there? Then I'm in.
Exactly.
Right.
So, here I am. And I spent $200 that night and bought his personal. I did. Oh, he was so convincing. And I came home with this it was like cassette tapes. And,
oh my gosh.
Okay. So, what the cassette tapes are. So I had this whole little package with the cassette tapes, and I came home and I had the cassette player in my car, and every morning on my way to work, I would put in it was 30 cassettes. It was a 30-day program. I'd put a cassette in, drive to work, listening to it on the way home, and then drive back and listen to it on the way back. And that changed my life. Those 30 days.
I had to look up something because I wanted to see, $200 in 1988. That was the year you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is equivalent in purchasing power to about $475. Man, I thought for sure it was going to be a lot more than that. Because inflation.
I'm not that old.
1988, Sally. That's like, I don't know, 24 years ago.
Right. But
30. I'm sorry. I've been corrected. Google corrected me. It's 34 years ago. So you think about 34 years, that's a little over 200%, 2.58 per year, it says. I guess that's okay. Okay. So the program, because I was thinking, gosh, that would be like $4,000 today. That was way up. Well, hey, I was alive in 1988 too. That's actually the year I met my husband, Scott. So we've been together for, I should have been able to do the math. It's been 33 years.
Yeah.
But it's been an incredible journey. And that's the thing, is that when we raise our hand, I remember when I was sitting with Les Brown, I had an amazing opportunity to sit with him for a couple hours. And he was just asking me all these questions about my life and about, who I am and all this stuff. And one of the things that came up that he said, you got to make sure you mention this every time you speak, is that, I raised my hand. It was such a big deal, because for the first time in my life at age 51, I raised my hand to step in and do something different. And this is a lot of like where that has led me. And so it's been an incredible journey. So excited about it. Excited to be on this journey with you. I'm so glad we met each other, because you've been an incredible asset to the team here at Action Takers Publishing. And so excited. This is our first official book under Action Takers Publishing. I've published other books, before Sally came along, and it was under Women Action Takers. Originally, it was under just Linda Sunshine West. And so I've morphed into, this Action Takers Publishing, and Sally's on this ride with me, and it's been amazing. Ride, Sally, ride. I'm sure you've heard that song before.
Yeah. A few times. So I think awesome. Katia might be ready.
She is. Okay, we're going to bring her up. But before we bring her up, let's share a little song for everybody. Hold on a second, because I got it. Why did they put that way down there? It's like way down at the bottom of the screen there. Okay, let's go. Hello. Oh, wait, Katya, I got to bring you up. Details. Katya, it's so good to see you today, and I'm glad you pulled over, because I want to make sure we're safe. That's the most important thing here, of course. And are you able to hear us? Can you hear us?
I don't think she can hear us. Uh-oh.
I don't think so either. Okay, I'm not sure. Hello?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me now? I feel like a Verizon guy. He got in trouble or something, huh? Let's see. Oh, we keep getting trolls. Oh my gosh, it's my first time ever. We're getting these trolls. Let me go block them. I got to go block these people, because they're starting to troll over here. I've never had that happen before. I feel special. I feel special that we're getting trolls, Sally. Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear us, Katia?
Oh, I don't think she's able to hear us. Okay, she might need to go out.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now we can. We couldn't hear you before.
I can't hear you.
Oh. Sally, you can hear me, right?
I can. Yep. We can hear each other.
Okay. I'm not
there
sure.
There we go.
Can you hear us now?
Yay!
There we go. Yes. Yay.
Yay.
I'm going to retitle your chapter to Persistence. I love it.
Definitely.
Welcome. We're so excited to have you here today. And the first thing that we like to do with many of the authors, is to ask about a quote in the chapter. And you started off, one of the quotes in your chapters, I felt like a sad karmic story as everything changed for the worse. Please tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when you finish medical school and you start climbing up the corporate ladder of getting a subspecialty and having an administrative position and getting a good job and getting a good salary, you are not expecting to get sick. And once you get sick, it kind of interrupts your whole flow, if you will. You have to think about the doctor's appointment. You have to think about the health insurance. You have to think about the pill. And I found myself in the middle of trying to be the perfect patient, at the same time being the perfect doctor. And it was just too much and it felt like it wasn't working. So that's kind of why the whole karmic story, everything was just for the worse. I just did not find a way to find balance, if you will.
So how did you end up? Do you have balance now? Let's start there. Have you found your balance?
I'm working on it. I am working on having balance now. I believe finding balance is a day-by-day thing. I believe I am closer, yes.
That's awesome. Well, the journey, it's a journey, right? It's not like, oh, you make a decision, everything changes in that moment. So it is that journey, and you're in the process. We're all in the process of a journey, whatever our journey is. And I just want to thank you so much for being part of this journey with us, Wellness for Winners. We hit that #1 spot. How does it feel to be a #1 best-selling author? Did you know you're a #1 best-selling author?
I'm still processing that one. I honestly, 10 minutes ago, I was still crying in the car, trying to figure out how I was going to be composed for this. I feel very honored, very honored.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. I even put a banner there for you, right? Congratulations. You're #1 best-selling author. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disappear You're welcome. I'm going to disappear behind the scenes while Sally takes over, and we're going to go ahead and get more people hopping in here. Thank you so much.
So, Katya, I met you in a mastermind class that we were in together. And I at that time, at the beginning, when we first started, this was never even on my radar. I never thought that I'd be doing any of this kind of stuff. But
Wow.
when we came up with this, and from our chats, I was like, oh, Katya would be perfect for this book. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, and why you said yes to being in this book?
Okay. Whew. Well, my name is Katia. I live in Puerto Rico. I studied medicine because when I was a little girl, I got sick with asthma. I chose to not be a victim to being sick, so I decided that by becoming a doctor, I would be able to prevent that, if you will. So my journey of becoming a doctor was basically that, a little bit of fear of me not wanting to be a patient and my desire of being my doctor for my relatives and my loved ones. So I did medical school, and I also specialized in internal medicine, and that's where my journey pretty much began. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm working as an internal medicine physician, as an attending, and I'm supervising residents as they're also in their residency program to become internists as well.
Perfect. I love that. So why write a book? Why write a chapter in a book?
Well, at first, when I got sick, I felt in a way ashamed, kind of like a doctor should not be getting sick. There's like this paradigm thing that I had, and I felt embarrassed. I kept quiet. I hid the fact that I was taking pills. I hid the fact that I was getting appointments. And it wasn't until I noticed that a lot of us are having this situation. And the fact that I was blessed with the opportunity of being a doctor and a patient at the same time, I felt called to actually be an example of another way and lead in that aspect. So when the opportunity came to be part of a book, I got chills because it was just the moment in time when I was deciding that hybrid healing was something that I was looking into and that I wanted to focus on in my career. This opportunity just came, and I believe it was meant to be, and I get the opportunity to share my journey in ways to inspire.
Yeah. I remember when I asked you, you were like, yes, where do I sign up? You were just like, yes, let's do it, you know?
I was.
I know. So, and I love that about you. And I love that, how we met and, and it was a Think and Grow Rich mastermind that we were part of together. That's been a whole big part of my journey. And I know your journey as well. How has this process, since you sitting down writing your chapter and then submitting your chapter and then everything up until now becoming a best-selling author on Amazon, what has that process been like for you? And how has these last 3 or 4 months affected you?
Wow. I'm gonna say like a dream come true. I'm still wrapping my brain around how it all happened so fast and so seamless, so easy. It was I chose when to write, and I got my 2 or 3 days to sit a couple of hours down and just put a little bit of words in there, and then figure out how to put an order and to put essence to it. Submitting it, everything after submitting it was wow, so easy and so much fun, and wow, the support, the publishing information, how everything, wow. I feel this part of me in a way did not believe this was actually happening. So it was like whenever I saw the chat with all the announcements and the pictures and the celebrations, it's like this is happening. This is happening. And it for the last 24 hours I have been in awe at how this all happened. Wow, you are so amazing. You and Linda, wow, thank you. I'm really grateful for all of this. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm so excited to have you part of this journey and to be joining us here. And it's just been a fun ride. It really has. How can people get in touch with you if they want to connect with you after they read your chapter?
Okay. I'm working on my website soon,
Okay.
Hybrid Healing PR. But right now, the best place to find me is my Instagram and my Facebook page. I have a personal account and a professional account. I would prefer the professional one if it's for professional matters. I don't mind connecting. I am here for support. So my Instagram is Katya Fit Doctor, like FIT Doctor. And Facebook is K Miller Wellness.
Perfect. All right. Well, everyone, head on over to wellnessforwinners.com and pick up your copy and connect with Katya. And thank you so much, Katya, for being part of this. And we are so excited and blessed to have you join our book.
Thank you for having me.
I still love our commercial.
I love that, our little cheetah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just love what Katia has done. She's jumped into this really like she was ready. You know, a lot of times we're not ready, but she was ready to do this. I'm so excited for her. Number one, best-selling author, something she wasn't really expecting to happen so fast. I mean, just like the whole thing is like, she's perfect.
Right.
It's perfect.
And I hope she gets a chance to connect with the other authors in this, because she was kind of one, because she came from me, she wasn't part of Sherry's world. And a lot of these people were part of Sherry's. So so being, part of these and getting to know all of these amazing people in this book is going to be great for her and for all the other authors to meet and collaborate with each other.
Definitely. And we passed up Tony Robbins. We beat him in 2 different places now. We're shooting for it. We're going to keep going for that number 1 in the category Tony Robbins is in, which I don't even remember what category that is right now. I just must admit, I don't really know a lot what's going on in my brain right now. Words are coming out, but they don't, I don't know where they're coming from. It's just been an amazing day. Absolutely incredible. Speaking to all the authors as they're, coming up here. And it's been amazing because we had almost 100% of the authors, said, hey, I want to be interviewed, which was cool because the last books, we didn't have that percentage. And so they're making it happen. So excited to have them here. I saw somebody in in our Facebook chat yesterday, they said something like, I should have taken the day off, because I want to be part of all of this. And I'm like, that's what we want. It's that, building that excitement. It's so much fun to do something like this with other people. And you mentioned it earlier in one of the other interviews, that just, having this team of people, because it's not you by yourself. Because when you solo publish a book, yes, you might have, people who are there to support you, but what's different here is that everybody has the same common goal, right? Whereas if I have my own book, other people may be there to support me, which is fantastic, but they don't have the same common goal as I do. And so now we've come together as a gang, because a gang really is people with a common goal. And so we've come together as a gang and we're making it happen. And I'm excited to see what happens in the next few hours. I'm still shooting for that Arthur. I don't even remember his last name now. Some guy named Arthur. We're going to beat him.
Right. That was Dara Bose says that was her who wanted to take the day off.
Oh, that was, I love it. Awesome. Let's see. She's watching. Thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you in a little bit, Dara. Come on up here. So what we're going to do next is we're going to bring up co-author of the book, Evan Trad. Let me see. Let me get Evan up here. Welcome, Evan. Good to see you. My understanding is, Evan, you're very tall. So.
I am tall.
That's okay. I'm sure we balance each other out.
I'm 6'3".
Oh my gosh, you are tall. You are tall.
You wouldn't know it though, because you only see.
We only see from this.
Yeah, half up.
I look tall, right?
You could tell people, Linda, that you're 5'10". Nobody would know.
That's true. Oh gosh. Except when they meet me in person, it'd be a dead giveaway. That's for sure. Yeah. Well, Evan, welcome to the show. Super excited to have you. We had Sherry on earlier talking about the genesis of the Wellness for Winners book. And so I want to skip all that. Like, let's let Sherry did that part. I want to get into Evan, like, who is Evan? What's he all about? And because I know you have in your chapter in the book, you do talk about, a bit about your childhood and some of the things that you've gone through and what you're doing today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disappear into the lobby. I'm going to hang out there with Asma because she's ready to come up later. So I'm going to hang out in the lobby with Asma, and we just want to hear your story. Sally, it's all
Before you go, she's gone.
She can hear you.
Here. I'm here.
There you go. I just wanted to say how exciting it is that we passed Tony Robbins. I was in the lobby when you posted that, and I was like, yes. Because I know that was one of the goals that we set for ourselves. So
we got goals.
Awesome.
Now we got to beat that guy Arthur or something or other. So that's our next goal. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. And this has been a great journey with you. And I'm excited that when I reached out to you guys, you and Sherry, you were like, yes, we're in. And here we are today on launch day.
I know, it's so exciting. And thank you, Linda and Sally and everyone at Action Takers Publishing. You guys have been absolutely amazing and have made everything so seamless and so much fun. I think that is the exciting thing, is every step of the process has been fun. So and it was funny because Katya mentioned how seamless it was. I'm like, from the back, it doesn't feel as seamless, but as long as it seems seamless on the front, that's what really matters. And so
all the behind the scenes stuff that we've been going through, it's like, how is this all going to come together?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
But it
everything
does.
on our end was
Perfect.
seamless and,
That's
Fantastic.
what we
easy
wanted to happen.
and fun, right? That's what we want to have.
Yes.
This
You know what?
to be
Because
fun.
here's
So,
what I realized. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. I said, you know what? Action Takers Publishing is all effed up. We're easy, fun, and fast.
I love it.
That's not our motto yet, but maybe it will become. I don't know. Well, I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Linda.
Perfect. So Evan, there it is. And there is your name on the cover. So how does that feel?
It's exciting. And to know my name on the cover with Sherry becoming a #1 best-selling author is so incredible. Like Dara, I was thinking as the day went on that I should have taken the day off because my phone's been blowing up all day with people congratulating me and wanting to know how they can order their copies and how, how exciting it is, as well as, all the authors celebrating in our messenger chat of the excitement of, some of these authors are first-time authors that have never been published before, and their first time being published, they get to be best-selling authors.
I know, isn't that great?
And hopefully international best-selling authors, which will be even more exciting.
So tell us a little bit about your journey and why you chose to write your story.
Yeah, so this whole book came, as Sherry probably shared earlier in the day, it came to fruition about a year ago exactly. Sherry and I are together in a wellness company. We work together, and we wanted to share people's stories on wellness. And originally, my first plan was to share my story of how I began to meal prep. And that was like my, I guess, surface level idea. And then as I started to write, I was like, no, that didn't feel right. I needed to talk about being mentally tough and what it means to overcome the obstacles that life throws at you. And as I started to reflect on my life, I've had a lot of obstacles, from health challenges to overcoming educational challenges and obstacles to, become the person that I am today, which is a successful teacher and entrepreneur. And, but it took a lot of mental toughness, as I wrote in my chapter, to be able to overcome those obstacles and continue moving forward and persevering and knowing that it's just an obstacle that you can get around. So I was excited when I started to write, and I was like, this is what I need to share with the world. Everybody can find stuff online about how to meal prep, but they won't find, the steps to overcome the obstacles that life throws at you.
Right. You share your story as a child and the health issues that you overcame, and your difficulties with learning and that kind of stuff. Is that the thing that catapulted you into the educational field?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a teacher since I was, I think, 10 years old. And I actually got into special education kind of very roundaboutly. Through college, I was told that I didn't have the grade point average to become a teacher in the School of Education after my first semester in college. And I remember sobbing and what do I do? I've wanted to be a teacher. I don't know of any other career that I would want. And I, didn't, again, use that mental toughness, right? And started to look at the course catalog to find out what other options in teaching there were, and came across special education and switched my major the next day. Had no idea what special education was, didn't know that I actually, at the time when I was a child, was a product of special education. Switched my major and went into a classroom to do some observation hours and fell in love with it. And 15 years later, here I am.
Here you go. I love it. I love it. So, so you've written your chapter in the book. Is this your first book?
This is not my first book.
Okay.
This is my second book with my name on the cover. I wrote my own book a few years ago called Fuel Your Passion, Igniting a Life You Deserve. And it's a 4-step process to find your passion. And I will say, having written my own book, that this process is way easier.
Yeah, and you know, it's so nice to be able to then, you know, collaborate with the other authors, to get to know them, and just, you know, be part of this whole thing. So, if people want to connect with you, how can they do that?
So my website is goteamevan.com, and they can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at goteamevan.
Okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with everybody about, maybe about the book, your chapter, or what you're doing next?
I am so excited to have everyone in the oh my goodness, sorry, in the book to be able to share their stories, and I hope people read, you know, a chapter and find something that inspires them to take action and improve their wellness or their health in some way. Maybe it's my chapter, maybe it's another chapter, but I am excited to just see how this impacts the world. The stories in it are remarkable and vulnerable, and you know, in my chapter I was very vulnerable, and so I know that people have poured their hearts into their stories, and so I'm hoping that it just creates a ripple effect, and you know, and creates change among the readers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's Evan's chapter, Mental Toughness. It's worth fighting for, and this is an excerpt from your chapter. The power of reflection has allowed me to grow as a person, reach my goals, and grow professionally. You want to tell us a little bit more about what that means to you as far as that quote goes?
Yeah. So, as an educator, I reflect after every single lesson, after every single decision I make. And I started to move it into my personal life after reading a book, The Miracle Morning. And it really changed my outlook and my ability to just feel empowered in my day. And I reflect through just meditation and affirmations each day, and I feel like it has changed me. It's made me more confident. It's made me, as I said, reach my goals and begin to grow as an educator, as an entrepreneur, and just overall as a person.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking this this on with us. We are so excited to have you and to have Sherry as part of this. You guys make a great team, and we're just thrilled. You know, this is my first book at Action Takers Publishing, so this will forever be in my heart as something that, you know, was just very monumental. And we thank you for being part of that. So everyone, be sure to go to wellnessforwinners.com, pick up your copy on Amazon, and yeah, that it's moving up in the rankings. We're doing well with it, and yeah, it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Well, thank you, Sally, and thank you, Linda, again for all of your hard work on the back end to make this idea that we had a year ago come to fruition.
Here we are, back for more. Sally, you ready for the next one?
Let's go.
Oh my gosh, this has just been an absolutely incredible day. I just looked at the rankings and we haven't moved yet. We're waiting for Amazon to update itself, and then we'll see what's happening with the rankings. But I wanted, Evan, just an incredible story. And I love the one thing that he said at the beginning, and I just was so moved by it, is he said first, I don't remember exactly what the story was, but he said first he was going to basically go topical, right? It was going to be a topical conversation. And he realized that he wasn't going deep enough. So he decided to go deeper. And I think that's what the beauty is of these books, is as we start, people start turning in their chapters, they start writing, things come up. Things come up for them. And I remember in Invisible No More, Invincible Forevermore, one of the ladies reached out to me and said, oh my God, I'm just bawling my eyes out reading my chapter. But it was in a good way. Like she was healing. She was healing through sharing her story. And that's the power of us sharing our stories, the growth that happens within ourselves, but then also the impact that our stories can have on other people. If we don't share them, if we don't go deep, if we stay topical, we're really not serving anybody, not ourselves and not the people reading the chapter, right? So that's one thing I really loved that he made that decision to go deep, and boy, did he. I mean, what a really amazing chapter, amazing story. So that was a great one. You have something you want to say before we bring up Asma?
No, I mean, I was just going to agree with you on that. I think a lot of times, we think we don't have a story in us. We think our life is boring and that we haven't lived, we haven't, because we feel like we haven't done anything. But then when we actually do look back, there are stories, there are things that happen to us that we can share. And until we start that writing process and it flows in us and then out our pen or out our fingertips onto the keyboard, that's what gets it out into the world.
Next thing you're saying, I can't write fast enough.
Exactly. Right. I mean, has that ever happened? I mean, that happens to me a lot. Like I'll start with I don't know what to write. And then all of a sudden you start writing like one sentence goes into another. And then the next thing you know, it's like you're just pouring yourself out.
Yeah.
There, so.
Yeah. I even have sometimes where I'm writing something, and as I'm writing, another idea comes in. I'm like, okay, wait, hold on to that. And then I forget, it's like, oh, I should have jotted the note because I know it was really important. I used to say to my mom, I can't remember. She goes, it must not have been important. I said, everything I think is important.
It's all important.
Yes, exactly. So important. Let's see, what do we have going on? We got those trolls are back. Oh my gosh, you trolls, I'm going to block you guys. So for anybody watching, wondering what the heck I'm talking about, we have some trolls are putting some weird comments in there, and we will have nothing to do with that. I just tell you right now. And so we're going to bring on our next guest. Super excited to bring on Asma Yousif to the stage. Asma, it's great to see you today.
Hi, it's great to see you, ladies, and it's great to be here. I'm so excited.
Gosh, Asma is a #1 best-selling author. Yes! Fantastic. How does that feel to hear that?
Obviously, this is my first book. I'm this excited. #1 bestselling author.
I'm still excited. It never gets old.
It never gets no. It's and you're in for the time of your life. I'm telling you, this is going to be a great. Mark this day, because you're going to say, you know what, that day started all this.
Yes, yeah, and I'm ready for the second one. I submitted for the second one, and I'm like, let's go, let's keep it coming.
Exactly. I'm excited to read your next one too. That's a book called The Book I Read. We have a lot of books in the pipeline, and The Book I Read we're launching in March, and so we have just a lot of fun things happening. I was so excited to have you on this journey because I met you maybe almost a year ago, maybe even a little bit more than a year ago. And I just love, everything about your essence, like what you bring to the table and your chapter. So I want to bring up this quote that we pulled from your chapter. Chapter is religious or spiritual. Is there a right way? And I really loved your chapter, and I'll share why in just a second. But my soul just knew there was something so much more than what I was conditioned to understand and believe. Now, here's what I love about not only that quote from your chapter, but your chapter is because it got me thinking. I have my own beliefs, right? I believe in what I believe based on what other people's beliefs at the beginning of my life. Like I came into a family that had their non-beliefs because I came from a non-religious family, like nothing about religion. And so that was my belief. And so as I met more people, I started to establish a different belief. And then as I dove more into different things, I started to establish a different belief. And I love your chapter. It takes her chapter. You got to check it out. It takes you through that journey about her, moving through these different phases in her life of her belief, as spirituality. So with that said, I'd love for you to tell us, like, what does this, this one sentence right here, it's one sentence that's very impactful. What does this one sentence mean to you?
It's for me, it means that I was afraid to look inside. I was afraid to see what was in there because I was programmed to believe a certain way. It's funny what you were just talking about, Linda. What was going on through my head was that movie with Julia Roberts, The Runaway Bride, how she was making herself out to fit each guy that she was dating. So it's like she didn't know what she liked. She was liking everything that they were liking. And that's exactly how I felt growing up. It was like, no, I'm supposed to be this way because everybody else is. I'm supposed to think this way because everybody else is. But what does Asma want? What do I want? Who am I? What is it? How do I like my eggs? So it's like, it's all these thoughts that were going on and really being afraid of going in. So what exactly does that mean to me? And then there was something that you said, Sally, where you were talking about like thinking maybe our story isn't big enough and what our past is like. But as I started writing this book, I was going deeper and remembering things about my past that I forgot about, that maybe I just put up a wall and didn't want to see it anymore. Maybe it was like too traumatizing for me to like revisit, or maybe I just felt like there were just so many things that I have closed off that this really allowed me to go back into my life. And it's like, wow, this is how I felt. And I can't believe that this happened to me because I blocked it out for so long. So it was interesting for me to write this chapter and to go to that place where I felt, I felt like I was healed from it. I didn't have to go back there again. But now, looking back at it now, as I was writing it, it felt completely different for me now with the experience that I had back then. And it is healing. It is something that I am excited to share with everybody and to get my story out there, because you never know who could be going through the same thing, who feels the same way, especially when it comes to religion, right? That's just so... It's yeah, what's the right word? It's a stigma. It's like, it's just, you're afraid to think a certain way or a different way than what you were brought up to believe and to think. So for me, it was just great to go back into my past and write all about it and the experience that I had and my journey to where I am now. And it's a never ending journey. And like you were saying, Linda, when you were talking about the last book and how she was reading it, I thought of Dolores right away, because I was like, maybe that was her that you were talking about. Love her. But it's also, you reread it and you look back and you realized, wow, I came a long way. I've come a long way. I'm here now, and this is where I was then. So it's great. I love this journey that I'm on.
It's so fantastic. And shout out to Dolores. I didn't
Love
because of
her.
course, Asma and Dolores are really good friends. So it's funny that you were there, like when I mentioned that, right? I'm going to disappear to the lobby right now. I'm going to hang out there with Dara and Whitney while Sally finishes up the interview. And thank you so much for being part of this. Your story is incredible. I'm so glad you put that into this book because there are so many people out there that are going through these questions that they have, and you're going to really inspire them to look a little further and look further within, right? So I'll see you guys in a bit.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you.
So you know what I love about this book is that it's not just physical wellness. It's not just, okay, let's get our bodies in shape. We're talking about our mental health, our emotional health, and our spiritual health.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times our spiritual health is kind of, put on the back seat, and people don't really know how to get there. So you talk about this in your chapter about how you went through this spiritual journey. And why don't you just maybe elaborate on that a little bit? I mean, what caused you to really look within and that whole spiritual side of you? What caused you to take that path?
Yeah, so I grew up Christian and a very Syrian Orthodox family, believing in God, Jesus, but also believing that what we did, there would be repercussions. Like God was keeping tabs on what we were doing. And that never felt right to me because I never felt like God was a vengeful God. It's just, how could someone so loving be so vengeful at the same time and bring bad things upon me for doing something bad? So that's where my feeling deep down inside, ever since I was a kid, it just never felt right inside. And I just never knew how to communicate that. And even if I tried to communicate it, what was I going to say? Who was going to hear me? And it was like, no, this is the way you think. So as I grew up and started reading more books, just talking to people, learning more about different religions and different cultures and their beliefs and what they do, what works for them, and then just taking it all in and just figuring out what it is that works for me, because I didn't want to follow a religion anymore. I don't want to follow just one specific way and thinking that's the right way, because I don't believe that one way is the right way. So that's what started my journey. I was a little girl questioning it, and as an adult it just didn't sit well, because if God is love, then that's what I am. I'm love. And why would I be punished for making a bad choice because I'm a human? Right. We're going to make those choices, right? We're not perfect, but why should I be punished for it?
Yeah. And I think everyone's spiritual journey is personal. Everyone has, you can't, I know people try to say, oh, everyone needs to be the same religion that I am,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't get everybody, and everyone's spiritual journey needs to be their own. It needs to be their process. And but reading about what other people have gone through, reading about other people's journeys, I mean, that's what the Bible is all about, right? It's all reading other people's journeys, and that's what's going to give us, okay, if they did it this way, maybe I can try this, maybe I can try that, maybe this, this one does it this way, this one does it that way. So I'm so glad that you were able to share your story in the book. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
So I am based in California. I live in an area called Stevenson Ranch, is Valencia. And I am a clarity and confidence coach. So I support people in helping them find clarity in their life. And usually, like when you think about clarity, it's like, well, what does that mean? What does it mean to have clarity in my life? So it's really just finding your true happiness. What is it that lights you up, and getting clear on that and getting the confidence to put you where you want to go. What is your goal? Where do you see yourself? What do you want to accomplish? How do you want to feel? And I was just sharing with, I think it was with Dolores earlier today, just how happy I am. Like, this is the happiest that I've been in years. And I know that this is my purpose. This is what I am here to do. And it took me many years to not only see it, but to allow myself to step into it, because I held myself back. And just like you guys were sharing earlier, that you never know who needs to hear this. You never know whose heart you're going to touch. And that's my goal, is to really support and transform as many lives as possible and get them on this journey that I'm on, and to just spread love and joy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, I think so many people are, they cover up their light. They sit in the back and they don't let their light shine, because they're afraid of what people are going to say. They're afraid of making, a mistake.
Yeah. What they're going to look like, be judged. So they let their light get dimmed. And I was there too. My light was dimmed, but now it's like shining bright. Put on your sunglasses.
Asthma is here.
That's right.
So how can people connect with you, Asthma? What do where do they go? If they go to your website here, what do they get?
So they go to my website. They could, there is a free download where they put in their email address and get a downloadable document on like 3 ways of finding clarity. They can also send me an email at asma@asmayousif.com. You go to my website, and then you can follow me on Instagram, which is YouGlowGirl10, and glow is GLO. So YouGLO girl and the number 10, 10. Yeah. And you can also follow me on Facebook as well.
There you go. There you go. So we are all winners in wellness. And thank you, Asma. I'm so blessed to have you on this journey with me. We are #1 best-selling authors, and we beat Tony Robbins.
Yes,
everyone go to wellnessforwinners.com and pick up your copy of the book. And yeah, so thanks so much.
Thank you. Mwah.
There we are.
Oh, there we go. I just love those ladies. That's going to be you and me someday if we ever get to meet in person, right?
There you go. There you go.
I think you'll be coming out to San Diego before I head out to Connecticut anytime soon.
Okay. All right. I'll throw me on a bus, a train, a
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, right? Oh gosh, that's a hilarious movie.
Yeah, that's a long ride.
That was fantastic. I love Asma's story. Again, she touches on that, spirituality, a religion and topic, which is a very taboo topic. A lot of times, we don't talk about religion. We don't talk about politics. Those are 2 things we typically don't talk about. But I love the way she weaved it in her story and was able to tell it in a way that some people can really, really relate to. So I really am glad that she jumped in. It's funny that she knew that was Dolores, because Dolores is a really good friend of hers. And I'm like, Dolores, we know Dolores. She's amazing. So anyway, we're going to keep on going. Ladies and gentlemen, we are #1 best-selling authors. Super excited about that. We're shooting for international, but most importantly, we just want to keep beating Tony Robbins. I guess that's most important to me. So,
and Arthur.
And Arthur. We don't know who Arthur is, but you know what, Arthur, we're coming for you. We're gunning for you. That's for sure. So I'm super excited about our next guest that we're going to be bringing up is Whitney Hartford. And Whitney, momming it like a boss. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. When I saw that, momming it like a boss, I was like, this is just cool, Whitney. Good to see you today. And I got something to share with you, Whitney. So hold on just a second. Everybody hold the phone, because Whitney is a #1 best-selling author.
I'm so excited, ladies.
It's your first book, right?
It is my first book, and I'm like, pinch me, because I'm like, is this real? Is this really happening right now?
It really is. Oh my gosh. And I'm so excited because when especially the first time authors, like all the authors, it's great. But the first time, because each time I get to remember what it was like. Oh, those balloons for today?
Got some balloons and a little confetti popper after, just to celebrate.
Oh my gosh.
She's ready for the after party.
She's all dressed up, like she's got her prom gown on her.
It's a debut kind of thing, it's a big deal. So I had to come fully prepared.
You are definitely fully prepared, dressed for the occasion.
She's got Marilyn behind her.
Yeah, exactly. It's fantastic. Well, I'm going to disappear. Sally's going to take over and conduct the interview. But congratulations! I'm so excited to have you on board. Your story is absolutely incredible. I know you and Sally are going to talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to disappear, and I'll see you guys in a bit.
So grateful. Thank you.
So Whitney, I'm so excited to have you here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and why you decided to write a chapter in Wellness for Winners?
Well, first of all, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. And my name's Whitney Hartford, Momming It Like a Boss. And I was inspired to write this chapter through my hurdles and experiences as not only a single mother, but a mother of twins, overcoming the postpartum recovery hurdles, and also just trying to inspire others how to maybe hold their own when they're going through trying times. So really my experiences led the way through writing this book. And I literally just poured my heart out into it to inspire those to maybe shine through those dark times, make those dark times your light, because at the end of the day, what we make of our journeys are what other people are able to get inspired by.
That's great. Yeah. So why did you decide to put a chapter in the book? How did you know about the book?
Well,
find out about it.
Actually, I found out about it through family. So my mom, she kind of told me about it, but I was hesitant, like I'm a first-time author. I didn't think it's something I could do. And I really dug deep and I thought, my daughters are looking back at me. They're going to remember this day. They might not know now, but they're going to see me later on and they're going to be proud of me. And that's something that I really wanted to make myself and them proud. I wanted to do something and step out of my comfort zone. And so by me sharing my story of going through infertility, IVF, postpartum recovery, health and wellness hurdles on how to lose the weight after pregnancy, not once, but twice, was something that I felt I need to share with so many women to help them overcome their battles, their struggles. It's a confidence battle when you're having to lose weight after giving birth to a precious miracle. And so that's something that I really want to share with people and women, is that that's something that we are able to overcome and really become the best versions of ourselves through guidance.
Yeah, I know, and there's so many people who deal with this. And so reading your story is going to be an uplifting experience. And we're so glad to have you as part of this Wellness for Winners books. So what's next for you? What do you? Well,
it was such an honor for me to be able to be a part of this book that I'm going to be doing another book. And you guys have inspired me just to be more of an inspiration to others, not through my actions, but really through my words, because I really didn't realize how much I would touch people through sharing my story. And so I'll be in another book coming up soon. And that's what I have going on top of my coaching and challenges coming up for health and wellness ladies from my moms.
Yeah. No, I know that's great. So you have, how many kids do you have? You have three?
Three. I have a 10-year-old and twin toddlers.
And twins, right?
Yes.
So how is that experience?
Oh my goodness, that experience alone is a whirlwind. And that's something that I'm absolutely grateful to share, because It's one of those things where I thought I was losing my mind. And through my experience of being a mom of 3, and I wasn't expecting to have the twins, it was something we went through. Like I said, we went through IVF, and finding that out took a lot of preparation, a lot of patience, a lot of planning, something that I wasn't ready for. But then I realized, if I don't do this, if I don't start planning, then I'm not going to really have the life that I want. You know, I'm not going to really be happy. I'm not going to be able to fill my cup up and fill other people's cups up.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's important, you know, and that's important for you to take care of yourself. And that was something, you know, when I started my journey that, you know, I was so busy taking care of everybody else, and you get caught up with that being a mom, especially when you have little ones, you know,
Right.
at that time, and you're so busy taking care of everybody else that you neglect taking care of yourself. So taking that time to fill your cup and keep it filled constantly to the point where it's overflowing, and then only give to everyone from that overflow is so important, you know, and taking, you know, why don't you share maybe some little tips you have maybe for young mothers who have little kids? What are some things that you do to take that self-care piece and make it happen?
Oh, okay. Well, let me tell you, I know this sounds bad, but the bathroom's like my best friend. So I definitely go in the bathroom, lock the door, hide in there, and have my bath time. And I own it, because that's a little bit of peace that I get without hearing, mom, mom, mom. So that, and exercising, oh my goodness, being able to go for a run, for a walk, even taking the kids with me on a walk, that just really takes away the stress and anxiety of motherhood, because motherhood is stressful. You can love it as much as you want, but the burdens, there's so many different dynamics that come to it, being a caregiver, that really taking the time to make sure you're healthy, you're getting adequate sleep. Those things play a huge role in functioning as a great mother. And that's something that I realized that I needed to take control of, is making sure I got sleep, making sure I communicated with my spouse and saying, hey, I want to go take this time to work out. I want to take this time to rest. I want to take this time in the bathroom to myself to recollect myself.
So what is this for you? You wrote your chapter, you submitted it, you've gone through this whole process with this. What was your favorite part of doing that, and what has this experience been like for you?
This has been the most amazing experience of my life. It's probably been one of the most scary experiences, trying to find the words and put them on paper. But it's been probably one of the most uplifting, honorable experiences of my life, because I never thought in a million years I would be an author and I'd be able to share my story and inspire people. And I get to do more things than one. You know, I get to help people. I get to also help myself. And I also have done something I've never done before. So it's just an absolute amazing honor for me. And I'm kind of speechless right now, because it's kind of surreal. I can't believe that I've actually been an author in a book.
I know. Isn't it great? And I'll tell you what, this is going to open some doors for you, and it's going to be a great thing going forward. So you're momming it like a boss is style with purpose and grace, is a lifestyle. And just because life changes doesn't mean it's a journey you have to do alone. So what does that quote mean to you?
That quote means to me is finding comfort in your chaos, and reaching out to those that you might think, okay, this person has a little experience. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And it's something that's not perfect. You're going to have your seasons, but it's something that, as long as you do with your community, or with your assistance, your help, with guidance, you know you're doing it intentfully, that there's nothing but grace behind it. You know, I've definitely recollected with God when it comes to this, and with everything kind of thrown in the mix, like I said, your purpose, my purpose, I feel like I have my whole purpose of what I am and what I stand for and what I do by being able to do this.
So thank you for joining us here today. We're so happy and so blessed to have you as part of this book. How can people get in touch with you, Whitney, if they want to connect with you after reading your chapter?
Oh, you guys can find me on mominitelikeaboss.com, also Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is mominitelikeaboss, and Facebook is Whitney Hartford, also mominitelikeaboss. I have a public figure profile and just a regular business profile. And you can also email me at improveyourlifelv@gmail.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being part of this. And we're happy to have you as part of our family. Everyone go to wellnessforwinners.com and purchase the Kindle version of this book and help us to become a best-selling book in multiple categories. We're going for #1 in all of them today.
I'm so excited. Can I say one other thing? I just wanted to say that for my mamas out there, I have 1 month classes for $19 a month. It's a 3-week trial course for their health and wellness. So go ahead and check that out. It's a special thing that I'm offering to my new and expecting mothers.
Perfect. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
About the chicken wings. How long?
Hello, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I heard something about chicken witch. I'm like, what is that? Is that
He's
your
asking
husband?
me. He's asking me how long you got to cook the chicken wings for.
Oh, that's nice. He's cooking. You know, honey, if you're cooking, you can cook them as long as you want. As long as you wash the dishes too.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, that was so great. I just love Whitney. I'm so glad she jumped in here. Her mom, Sabrina is her mother. And Sabrina introduced her to this and she decided to, write her story. And it's so great because, starting younger, I don't want to say I have any regrets because I don't. I keep telling myself that, but I wish I had started some of this stuff a lot younger, but it's good. It's what it is. And I'm excited about what we're doing today. It's fantastic. Just a reminder to everybody that 100% of the net proceeds of the sales of these books goes to a nonprofit called Girls on the Run. So just know that your donation, it's a donation for the nonprofit, and we're donating 100% of the net proceeds to them. If you want to check out Girls on the Run yourself, go to girlsontherun.org and check it out there. But otherwise, you donate to them through us by purchasing a copy of the books, as well as purchasing a copy of the books. I don't know where my as well as came from, so I had to finish it with something. Oh, this is my life. This is my life on a daily basis. Sally, are you having a lot of fun today?
I am. This is so much fun.
I just checked the standings,
okay,
and we're still holding strong. We are still in the same place. Amazon has not updated their algorithms within probably the last 2 hours or so. And so usually it's every hour or so that they update it. So we'll keep looking and we'll report back when something changes. Super excited to bring on our next guest. We have Dara Bose in the audience. Hello, Dara. It's good to see you today.
Hey.
Hello. It's so good to see you. Super excited to have you on this journey with us. This Wellness for Winners book. It's how did it feel to hit that? Like you woke up this morning and there we were, #1.
I actually was still up working, submitting a chapter for another book for you guys, and saw that we were #5 before I even went to bed last night. So
that's so fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. I was actually at work today. I was the one that said, "Oh, I wish I would have taken today off."
Yeah.
But after being off sick for almost a month, I was like, I got to go to work. So so it was exciting seeing all the messages come up in our group chat. Just everyone, oh, here's where we are. Everyone just so excited. Such a such a great group of people. I'm just really blessed to be a part of this group of authors.
Well, we're honored to have you on this journey with us too, telling your story. And I love the stories in this book. I'm going to bring this up. This is one of the quotes from your chapter. So what we're doing is taking some of the excerpts because we want to know, like, what was it about this particular, and I love that smile, by the way. I saw that picture and I was like, yes, we got to use this somewhere, right? It's like, it was so perfect. You said, I used my past as a learning experience and decided that I wanted something different for my life. So what is that all about? And what is the different that you brought into your life?
Yeah. So, my upbringing wasn't always that great. I kind of tell you guys about that a little bit in my story. My mom was a high school dropout. My dad was a drug addict, and we didn't have a lot of money growing up. And I saw the things and the struggles that my parents went through. And statistically, when people grow up in a situation like that, a lot of times they stay in poverty. They stay stuck. They follow in their parents' footsteps. And I decided that I wanted something different for my life. And so I decided that I was going to make different choices. So that's what that quote is about.
I love that because earlier we had, Sherry on, and we had, several other people were talking about choices and how when we make choices in life, we get to choose. Am I going to go down this road or that road? And guess what? If you choose to go down this road and you find it's the wrong road, you can get back over to this road, right? It's all about choice. Like every single second of our life is about choice. And so what are we choosing? So I want to congratulate you on deciding that that's not going to be my life. That's not going to be my life. And you went down a different road. What is Firewife Boutique?
Yeah, Firewife Boutique that I own. And it is for women. And I carry sizes small through 3XL. So I want to make sure that women, no matter their size, their curves, that they feel beautiful in their own skin. So that's kind of where that business was born.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. What we're going to do is I'm going to disappear out in the lobby, and I'm going to hang out down there with Tamara, who's shown up, and I'm going to just have a little chat with her. Not really Tamara, because we won't be able to hear each other, but I'm going to be hanging out there with Tamara while Sally finishes up this interview. And thank you so much for being part of this journey with us. And congratulations on being a #1 best-selling author. We beat Tony Robbins. That's all that matters.
So Dara, tell us a little bit about your chapter in Wellness for Winners and what inspired you to write it.
Yeah, so I actually was part of another platform that Sherry also pulled me along. And she said, girl, we're doing this. Here's the door. Let's go. So I did a chapter for that. And then, of course, we changed gears. And I decided, after having a conversation with Sherry, I actually have my own book that is coming. It is finished. I am just waiting on it. So I kind of stalled out in my own book. And I had a conversation with Sherry, and she said, what is holding you back? What are you so afraid of? Who are you afraid of hurting? And I hadn't even said anything. And Sherry she just is one of those people. She just knows. She just has a knack for knowing these things. And the thing is, in my book, I wanted to talk about my personal story and really be vulnerable and open up to people. And my dad has passed. He committed suicide in 2013. And my mom is still here. And actually today, my mom and I have a very great relationship. And from the story that I was telling and these things that I was telling about my childhood and my upbringing, I was kind of afraid that I may damage that relationship that I had with my mom. So Sherry kind of gave me that nudge that I needed to open up and talk to my mom. And my mom gave me the green light. She said, this is your story, you tell it. And so when this opportunity came about with Action Takers and to rewrite my chapter and make it something completely different, I decided to be open up and be vulnerable and tell about my past and where I came from and some of those things that happened in my childhood, and to prove that just because the things that you have in the past, where you came from, what your parents did and their choices, don't constitute where you are destined to go. So that's kind of how I came about writing this chapter and opening up and being vulnerable about some of the things that happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And sometimes, some of the decisions we make without thinking are the ones that, that take us in a totally different direction. It's when we stop and think about things that we, maybe we back out because we're overthinking and we're thinking too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very much.
I've found that myself too. So, how have you enjoyed this process? You sat down, you wrote your chapter, and how difficult was it to add? First of all, how difficult was it to add to you wrote it originally, and that was I know you guys were disappointed that it didn't happen, and now you have to rewrite it. How hard was it to go from the smaller chapter to now to writing? I mean, that come easy for you, or was it?
It actually did come easy. Once I broke that barrier that was holding me back from truly sharing my story and being open and honest. Once I broke through that barrier, it's like the gates are open. Like, we're just gonna let it. We're gonna tell our story because our story may help someone else. So my other chapter that I had written was completely different. It was nothing. It wasn't even close to what I actually wrote for this book. So it actually was really easy. Once I started, I sat down and I decided, okay, I'm going to share my story. We're not going to hold back. We're not going to sugarcoat it. We're just going to tell it. It was freeing. It was actually kind of a therapeutic experience to write it.
Yeah. Yeah, it does become that way, right? It does become therapy for us to and we talked about that a little bit earlier. It's something about, when we sit down to write our experience, it goes through us and write out our fingertips onto the paper or onto the keyboard. And it's kind of like, that letting go, that release. And it can be therapeutic, and that's why I think this is so much needed for not only for the readers to read these stories, but for the authors of these books to be able to write these stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So how has the process been for you so far? So from going from submitting your chapter to all the in between parts.
I can tell you that being the third book that I've written, I contributed to another book that's published. I wrote my own. I wrote a book, contributed to another book that didn't happen, and then this one. And then I actually submitted for another book that Action Takers is publishing soon. But I can tell you, this has been the easiest, stress-free experience I have ever had. You guys made it so easy. You guys took care of all of the hard work, all the background stuff. I literally just had to tell a story, and then you guys took it from there. So it was very easy. I wouldn't say that I would do it again. I already have done it again. And I would do it again over and over. So it was a great experience.
And Linda says, yes, we love hearing that. We do. We put a lot of work behind the scenes to putting all this together. And we really appreciate that you guys are part of this, and that you guys appreciate that too. So what's next for Dara? What's next on the horizon? Do you have any big goals or dreams coming up?
Always dream big, right?
Dream big.
I do coaching. So I just, want to just help as many people as I can. I'm actually going back to school to get my degree in psychology, and I'm actually going to go on to seminary to become a pastor. So lots of big things in my life. I am just driven, and my passion and my purpose is to help other people. And like I said, by opening up and telling my story, I help myself, and hopefully I help someone else. And it's just my job to take those people that I meet along the way and just help raise them up with me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what I love about all of the authors in this book. It's all about giving back. Yeah. It's all about, how we can uplift other people. And that's another thing, all the net proceeds from the sales of this book goes to Girls on the Run. And that's an organization that uplifts girls and teaches them healthy ways to relieve stress, healthy ways to go forward in their life. And I think it's a great organization. And I love that we do this with the online sales of the book. So thank you, Dara, for being here, for being part of this. And how can people connect with you if they want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, sure. Like the link is on there. You guys can always go to my website and check out my website. Lots of great stuff there. You can also connect with me on Facebook. My website is darabose.com. There's not a lot there. It's still being built, but it's a work in progress. And you can also email me if you like at dara@darabose.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you for being part of this. Everyone head over to wellnessforwinners.com, pick up your purchase of the book, and let's keep moving up in the rankings.
Yes.
No, you are great because you know what? You know why you're great? Because you had the courage to step out of a terrible relationship, to overcome a difficult and challenging childhood, and go out on your own, and then forge a career. Look where you are now.
I know.
You're on the red carpet.
It's freaking amazing.
It is amazing. and I did the same thing. I left West Virginia and was able to create what I've created. And, you know, the thing is, it proves that anybody can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my father made $8,000 a year. He was an alcoholic. My mother was an alcoholic. And, you know, I've made 8 with 6 zeros after it instead of 8
Yeah.
with 3 zeros after it. So if I can do it, anybody can do it.
I know I can do it. I'm going to do it. I'm on that path right now.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Thank you so much.
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate it.
My
Have a great
pleasure.
night.
I just had to throw that one in there.
There you go. There you go.
I love
Yeah.
that one. Oh my gosh, that was just absolutely amazing. You know, Dara, it's pronounced Dara, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dara. Yeah, just her story. And, you know, we don't have to, our lives do not have to be determined by our past. And that's what I love, is that as human beings, we have this power to choose. We have this power to change our lives in an instant. We get to decide to do something different. And it kind of reminded me of, not her story. It didn't remind me of that, but just like doing something different in an instant kind of reminded me of that movie. Oh my gosh, now I can't remember the name of it. So what good does that do? It was one with Julia Roberts where she ended up running away from her husband and she just like completely changed everything about herself. I can't remember the name of the movie right now, but it just made me realize like how we can change. And a lot of times people will allow their mindset to keep them stuck in the place that they are. And I just realized, Sally, why are you on the wrong side? But, you know, oftentimes, because it's hard to change. Or let me rephrase, I want to rephrase that. It is not hard to change. It's sometimes challenging. But once we decide and we do it and we go for it, then it's not hard, but we can decide if it's going to be hard or not.
Yeah.
And that's
And
the one thing is, yeah, I choose not to make it hard. It's like,
Yeah.
it's easy to change.
I think a lot of people look for permission to change.
Yeah.
You know, they think that, you know, they want to change, but they feel that they're going to disappoint somebody if they do. And so they're looking for that, you know, that piece that, you know, that maybe, you know, if someone just says, you know what, go ahead, do it. It's okay. It's going to be okay if you do it. That's, you know, stepping out and then making the change. You're just waiting for someone to say, yeah, okay, let's do, you know, it's okay if it's okay to take that step. It's okay to change.
Oh yes. And sometimes that is a challenge right there, right? Is that, wanting the approval of others.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we get to that point where we realize we don't have to have approval from others, that's when change is effected faster or more often.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm excited to bring on our next guest. She's disappeared from her screen right now. So, oh, there she is. she's like, the second I go disappear, they're going to bring me up. Okay. I know how you ladies are. So let's bring her up. Tamara, it's so good to see you. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you all doing?
Oh my gosh, we are on cloud 80. Forget cloud 9.
I'm there. I'm there.
Whoever limited it to 9 clouds, I'm not sure.
They've never been in this spot before. Maybe.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh my gosh,
We're just having too
congratulations.
much fun.
Yes, congratulations. Tamara is the #1 best-selling author.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's been exciting, being on this journey with you, reading your chapter, and then, working with you like behind the scenes a little bit here and there, right? And just getting to know everybody and who they are, what they're all about. I've been enjoying this process, and I'm hoping that you've been enjoying it as much as I have. What we want to do, though, Tamara, is I'm going to bring one of your quotes up from your chapter, because no, I'm not crazy. I mean, hello, how many of us can relate to that, right? So you said, before I could fully wake up from the anesthesia, the nurse was shaking me awake and advised me that I needed to head straight over to get a CT scan because the doctor had spotted a growth on my colon. Oh my gosh, just that one. There's so many emotions that can go into that one sentence.
Yeah.
So many emotions. And I would love to hear from you, like, what on that sentence right there, what does that mean to you today, as opposed to, when you actually went through the experience?
What it means to me today is gratefulness that I'm even able to sit here and have the conversation with you about that moment. Now, almost 6 years ago, it'll be 6 years in June. I am a 5.5 year colon cancer survivor. So yay to that. So what it means to me now is gratefulness. What it means to me now is living my truth and speaking and telling my story. What it meant to me then was complete and utter fear. And for just a second of it, the nurse sounded like the Charlie Brown, womp, 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 womp. Because it was like, wait, what are you saying? Where are you? Why are you so loud? Because I'm still under anesthesia. So I'm like, what is happening? And then for her to say that, it was shocking. So
I can't even imagine. And that Charlie Brown, I mean, even though you threw that funny part in there, because the Charlie Brown, like the message was not funny, but the Charlie Brown, and it's like sometimes when we're in shock, we don't really hear what's going on. But as you said, you were under anesthesia at that time. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to disappear. I'm going to go back into the lobby. I'm going to hang out. I see we've got Daryl and Bryan out there. I'm just going to go hang out with those guys for a little bit and send it on over to Sally. And Tamara, thank you so much for being part of this journey, sharing your story, because your story is very impactful and is going to give hope to someone else out there. So thank you for putting it onto paper and sharing it in this book with us, Wellness for Winners.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the opportunity. Thanks so much.
Yes, you're welcome. Sally, take it away.
So Tamara, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and why you decided to write your chapter in Wellness for Winners?
Well, I'm Tamara Carruthers. I am a mother and wife, mother of 3, a wife. I'm a business owner. I'm a friend. I'm a coach. I'm an entrepreneur. I wear a lot of hats. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, but I live in Memphis, Tennessee right now. I have an amazing job, have an amazing family. This book for me almost didn't happen. And I know you probably talked to several of the other authors that were a part of the One Habit book. So it almost didn't happen for me. And it was almost devastating for me because I've been holding on to this story and so many other stories for so long. At heart, I'm a writer. I just have this thing where if I speak my truth and I say my truth, I feel like I can touch one person, maybe 2. But if the one person is all that it is, then I'm okay with that. So easier for me to do it is write it on paper. I don't do well talking in front of people, as you may be able to tell. I'm not a people person. I'm kind of an introvert, but being able to tell my story, put it on paper, and then speak it out loud is my story. Nobody can tell it better than me. So I'm just extremely grateful for the opportunity. And like I said, Sherry and Evan really came through and saved our lives, book lives for that matter. Because like I said, it almost didn't happen for us.
Yeah. Well, you're doing fine. Don't worry about it. And so how difficult was it? Now, we gave you a lot more words to write.
Absolutely.
How difficult it was. You had the first one all, written in the way that you wanted it. How difficult was it for you to now just add more to it and come up with a larger chapter? And what did you change?
everything.
Oh, really?
Kind of like Dara. So yeah, my first chapter was completely different. It wasn't it was personal, but not this personal. This particular chapter is something that I was working on while in the middle of going through a crisis, which that chapter talks a lot about mental health as well as my cancer journey. So I was in the middle of going through a crisis. Again, writing for me is therapeutic. So I wrote what I presented to you all. Started writing that about 4 or 5 years ago. The first chapter was completely different. But when I had the opportunity to do it again, I just said, you know what, go for it. Put it all out there because you may not get this opportunity again. Like, this is the time to go. And I'm a firm believer in everything happens in God's timing. So all the things that I was trying to do up until this point, it was never going to work out for me because it wasn't my timing. It was God's timing. So right now, this moment, that chapter, those 2,000 words versus the 300 words I had before, it was life-changing.
We're so happy to have been able to do that for you, for all of you guys. I know, you know, being a part of that, and then having that disappointment, and knowing that the book wasn't going to happen. And you know, Linda and I talked about it, and we felt your pain, and we knew that, you know, you guys needed something, and so we're just so thankful that you guys trusted us enough to share your stories with us.
Yeah.
So in the book, you share your story, and how has the process been for you? You know, was it difficult for you to hit that submit button and submit your chapter? Did you have, you know, things in your mind saying maybe I shouldn't be saying this or doing this, or you know, just the fear, or, you know, was that easy for you?
It was not easy for me because, again, it's my story. It's mine. It's intimate. It's personal and personable. But it just was very hard for me to say, you know what, just say it and be done with it, because I know for a fact, like my life is rooted in being a servant leader and just being a servant to people in general. And this is one of my ways to, you know, distribute my gift out. So I had to do it. As hard as it was, I think I like I said, I was working on this particular piece years ago, and I added and had taken some things away from it and added it back in. I was like, no, that's too much. And then I was just like, you know what, just say it, be done, and send it. I sent it, and I tried to unsend it, and it didn't work. So here we are.
So do you think you'll write the rest of your story?
Absolutely. I cannot wait to write the rest of my story, actually. This has been so motivating. You guys have been amazing. I think I expressed this to you guys earlier in a message we were sharing. It's just been unbelievable. I literally was thinking that I'm forgetting to do things because you guys have made it so easy. It's almost seamless. I'm like, okay, wait, I maybe missed the deadline. No, I hadn't. You guys have made it just that easy for us. So I appreciate you guys for that.
Well, thank you so much. We've enjoyed having all of these authors, everybody here, and we are just so blessed and so happy to have you part of this. You are a #1 forever in a best-selling author, and it's just you think about the process and what it's going to be like going forward. And I know you guys, especially the ones who, you know, are the first time authors, it is going to open doors for you. This is going to, if you put in a little bit of behind the scenes hard work and go after it, there's going to be opportunities that are going to be opening up for you guys. So I'm so excited for you for that. So what's next for you? Do you have anything on the horizon?
Yes. I mean, I have other businesses. So I do have a VIP sip and paint party company with my sister. We also do decor, and we have a lot of things going on. So I'm excited to include or incorporate those things within my book, hoping to do some coaching. I'm signing up to get my life coaching. For some reason, I haven't gotten it, but I'm a lot of people's life coach, just not getting paid for it. So you know what? Why not put that on paper? And I'm a great product. I'm a great product, and I want to put myself out there, because not only for myself, just because there are people who are in this space just like me, who are introverted, who aren't, wanting to be in the limelight. And sometimes we just have to push ourselves. And if I push myself, or if I can push other people to do it, then I most certainly should be able to push myself to do it. So finishing working on my other businesses, gonna work on finishing my book, and the story that you guys are gonna, get a chance to read. I want to add on to that so you can really figure out who I am.
Perfect. So how can people get in touch with you if they want to know more?
Okay, so I can be reached on the Messy Canvas TC on Instagram, and then also on Facebook at Tamara Carruthers. That's CarRuthers is the last name.
Well, we are so excited to have you as part of this book. Everyone go to wellnessforwinners.com, pick up your copy, and help us to become best-selling authors in all the categories on Amazon. We're gunning for all of them.
Yes.
We went after Tony Robbins. We beat him in a couple of his categories, but we here we go. Yes. So thank you so much, Tamara, for being here.
Yeah, Tamara. Yeah, again, thank you so much for being part of this journey. That it's so great to hear that you had your story. You were writing it, and now you've got it started. And so sometimes it takes just that little bit, right, to get the engine, the caboose.
Absolutely.
The caboose going. So we're super honored to be part of that journey that you are on, and so excited. #1 best-selling author. Yeah, we're shooting for all the categories. We're almost bestseller in all of the categories, but we're shooting for that #1. Why would we stop at just bestseller? Right?
Don't stop here.
Don't stop. Believe. Okay. Okay. I got to go into song every once in a while. Okay. Tamara, thanks so much for being here. And we're going to bring up our next guest, which is Daryl. And then, please keep sharing this out there because we need those shares in order to hit that #1 in all those other categories. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much, ladies. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Messy Canvas to the rescue.
Yes. Bye.
Here we are, Sally.
There we are.
Just having a little bit of fun. Hanging
out with each other. There we go.
Oh my gosh, this has been an amazing day. Super excited about it.
Gosh.
I keep on looking at those rankings. Amazon update, will ya? Yeah, but it's been so much fun. Hitting those #1 best-selling statuses under 2 hours. Hitting that #1. That is so exciting. And my last books, before you came along, right? So this goes to shows to testament as to having helpers, having people on your team. And so before, we hit it at 8. It was 8 hours for the first one and then 5 hours for the next one. We did those 2 books 8 days apart. But 2 hours, this is unheard of, new territory for me and for you. Super excited. I love that we're having our next guest on is Daryl Johnson. And I met Daryl through this book. Okay. So I met Daryl through this book. And he has a talk show that he produces called Bookish. And I am one of the co-hosts on that show, Bookish. Daryl, is that a fake background or is that real? Because that looks awesome.
That's real.
That is real?
That's real, yeah.
I don't believe you. Prove it. Nice kidding. Is that a paint? Is it a painting? Oh,
yeah, it's a painting.
Oh, that's so cool. I love it.
I'm trying to do my best.
I got to get something because this
I didn't put a jacket in for you. I don't generally put a jacket on.
Normally you're wearing a t-shirt or something, right?
That's right. I'm always in the background.
See, this here is one of those fold up things because I have a small space, right? And so I'm thinking if I got something kind of like that I might be able to clip it to the top somehow and have it draped down. And so, but I do got to close this up every time. So now we're talking extra work. Do I want to put it?
You're busy. You're a busy woman like me.
That's right. I gotta save time everywhere I can. Daryl, yes. I've got to share something with you.
Okay.
Daryl's the #1 best-selling author.
Woo!
I can't take credit for that.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
No, it's everybody. It's the team, right? It's
It's the
all.
team. That's true.
There's no I in team, and so we don't take full credit because it's everybody doing it. But congratulations, this is your very first book.
Yes,
so
it is.
excited, and
Yeah.
I want you to tell a story of why you joined Wellness for Winners. Like who twisted your arm to get into it?
Oh my goodness! I mean, we can start. It'll probably take the whole 15 minutes. So I'll just get to what happened that kind of made me pivot from just saying, okay, I'll give you the money and leave me alone, to, oh, okay, this might work if I get enough time to write 2,000 words. But it started about almost close to a year ago. Sabrina Prodick, she had, told me, she says, hey, there's a real great opportunity for you. She's an author already, it's called One Habit. And I said, oh, that sounds good. She's like, you could be in a collaboration and you could write your story. I'm like, yeah, one day I'm going to write my story, but not today. So it came and went, and it came back again. And then this time she introduced me to you, Linda. And she says, Linda is taking up the realm and she's going to continue this One Habit series. And she would like for you to participate in it. And I was like, well, yeah, that sounds good. I said, but just let me know when the time comes. So she kept going back and forth with me. And I was the last person that participated. And I finally said, okay. Then she called me up. She says, okay, Linda is on right now. She wants to talk to you. And I'm like, okay. I said, let's do this. Okay. So Linda, what do you need from me? I need 2,000 words from you. I'm like, 2,000 words. I got started writing and I wrote like 300 words. And I'm like, I'm not even close to being 2,000 words. And what am I going to talk about? So you and I went back and forth over and over again until we got 2,000 words, and voila.
And you did a great job. And thanks so much for sharing your story. You talk about financial wellness, like that's, the Wellness for Winners, right? Yours is all about financial wellness. And so I just want to, thank you for being part of this. Now, there is a quote that we pulled from your chapter, which is called Mentors Matter. That's the title of your chapter. Yeah. And you said, I woke up from an unconscious state, lying in the middle of the road in Chicago, to the realization that I was in a motorcycle accident. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine, what that must have been like. You want to share with us a little bit about that story?
Well, I was 17 years old. I had just graduated. I was excited about life. My older brother, he's only 18 months older than me. We both had motorcycles. And he asked me, he says, Daryl, can you take me to a client's house? My brother was an entrepreneur like I was. We always had a little hustle going on in Chicago. You got to have a hustle. I try to stay away from the bad hustles and go with the good hustle. So I was taking him to a client's house. He had his, he was on the back of my bike, and a car did a U-turn in the middle of the street. And we had to brake very quickly. And both of us went over the car. And when I hit the ground, I went unconscious. And when he hit the ground, he went unconscious. But I woke up. And I just remembered what happened very quickly. And the guy was standing over me, says, are you okay? Are you okay? And at that moment, I remember my mother saying, I don't want to feed you out of a straw. See, my mom didn't want me to buy a motorcycle, and I did. And that was my first moment of reflection from that accident.
Wow. At age 17.
17.
Wow. That's a huge wake-up call at such a young age, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks for sharing that. And thanks for being part of this book, telling your story, because that was part of what led to what you're doing today, through this process. That incident is something that kind of was like one of the catalysts that led to what you're doing today in the financial industry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disappear, and then Sally's going to go ahead and interview you. And I'm going to hang out in the lobby with Bryan, and Paige is showing up. So I'm going to hang out with those guys, and we'll see you in a little bit. And thanks for having me part of Bookish Talk, which is absolutely amazing on e360.tv. It's been an amazing journey. People, I want you to talk a little bit about that, of course, but okay. I'm gonna go down so Sally can have at you. Sally, you gotta unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
So Daryl, here we are. Wellness for Winners. We're a #1 best-selling book on Amazon. So why don't you just share a little bit about you talked a little bit about your motorcycle accident, but share a little bit more about your chapter in this book and what you wrote about and what it means to you.
Well, when I was asked to write a chapter, I was thinking, since I'm in the mentoring business, I wanted to write about something that would impact a life or, someone's life for the better. I didn't want to tell a bad story or a sad story and then walk away with that feeling of, oh, look what I did from that point. I wanted to share the how. How did that accident at 17 years old, how did it groom me to be who I am today? So I decided that the decisions that I've made in the years after that, the good decisions and the bad decisions were all based upon mentors and the importance of having the right people in your life, which goes back to my mother. My mother raised 8 children, by herself. My father left at an early age. I was 5 years old when he left. And my mother told me some things as a mentor. I didn't know what the definition of mentor was. I didn't even know what it meant. But I did know that my mom had some cliches that she shared with me. I want to share with you guys. One of those cliches just rung in my ear over and over again. I told you about one. I don't want to, feed you out of a straw. And she was just letting me know that this is not a good decision to buy a motorcycle. The risk factors are too high. Another thing she told me, she says, birds of a feather flock together. I mean, you probably heard that before, birds of a feather flock together. She was saying that my association was leading me down the wrong path. But she was trying to let me know in my own way that if you continue to associate with certain type of people, you're going to become that person. And that came true. Another thing she used to say to me is, one bad apple can spoil the whole bunch. You probably said that many of times. And I remember that it doesn't matter how good of intentions you have, who you associate with will end up deciding for you what your intentions are. So those decisions that I made early on in life were based upon my association. And when you think of association, sometimes you think, well, these are my friends, and that's okay. But at 17 years old, that decision I made based upon a friend's recommendation cost me something that I love, someone I love very much. It changed my life. And I can see now that those decisions that I made, some of the good ones I made were based upon my association too. And some people misunderstand the concept of friendship and mentorship is similar in a way. So I wanted to write about this chapter because it reminded me of how to make decisions when you have good people around you. So I thought about an illustration that I could share with the viewers to kind of get an understanding of why this chapter is so important to me. And I hope that you guys take the time out, because this book is written as a way of helping other people, and the donations, the money that's made goes to a good cause. But one of the things that I wanted to illustrate was GPS. I always talk about this in my mentoring courses. I said, mentors are like GPS. Okay. Now, if you think about GPS, it's directional, but you can't tell GPS what to do. GPS tells you what to do, but you can't tell GPS, how to do it. GPS tells you how to do it. But one thing you can tell GPS is where you're going. So similar to mentors want to know where you're going, but then they want to tell you how to get there. And sometimes what we do is, humans, we reject mentors because they don't tell us what we want to hear. We want to tell them how to get there sometimes. And the decisions that I made in my life, the ones that worked out for me, the ones that I listened to my mentors and allowed them to tell me what to do, even to the point of becoming an author. It wasn't my decision. I allowed someone else to make the decision for me, and it worked out to the benefit. Another thing I always said is, if you think about it, who debates with a mentor is the same person that debates with GPS, person who has no sense, no common sense. So if you're using GPS to get to a location and you're driving maybe from Chicago to California, you're not going to debate with GPS. You're going to listen to GPS so you can get there on time and safely. And the same thing with mentors. It doesn't help when you debate with a mentor, because the only thing you're going to do is discourage the mentor from telling you the truth. So in my life, the things that I wrote about in my chapter was related to things that happened because either I listened to a great mentor or I didn't listen to a great mentor. And I shared 2 different stories in my chapter. And those 2 stories had 2 different outcomes, and I don't want to tell the entire story because I want you to get the book. But I did want to share this with you. It says that, mentors are like elevators. They can take you up or they can take you down. So you have to select the right mentor. And the sad part about it is that most people don't choose their mentors. They don't. They want mentors to choose them. And I learned that because when I was younger, I was always looking for a person to basically tell me what to do. But then when I was told what to do, I didn't listen. So mentors matter means that basically you have to look at who's in your association. Someone said to me once in this book, they said, you can judge where you're going by the 5 people that are closest to you. So if you're somewhere where you're not comfortable or where you want to be, then maybe you should choose other friends or better mentors and help you get there. So that's why my chapter is Mentors Matter.
I love that. And we talked earlier, about, at least I did, we were talking about stepping away from toxic people and how important it is to have those connections with people who are going to uplift you, people who are going to support you in your process. So, you wrote your chapter. So how has this process been for you so far? Have you enjoyed it? What's been the most enjoyable part of being part of this book and going on this journey with us?
The relationships that you build, from meeting Linda, I've met a lot of authors, 30 authors. Think about it. That's 30 relationships that now I can, communicate with. Number one, each of them could be a mentor to me, to something that I'm looking toward, some goal. And I can be a mentor to them in some way or fashion. I mean, I've listened to 30 different people talk about their stories. And then 2 is to realize that it's not as hard as it looks. I've always been the kind of person that says, if it takes too much time, I'm not going to do it if I'm not committed to it. And this process has been very simple because Action Takers makes it easy for you. They're like me when it comes to mentoring. If you listen to me, it'll be easier. If you don't listen to me, it's going to be hard. That's the way I feel, because I'm not going to tell you something I don't do or I'm not passionate about. But, Action Takers is like that. They're like, okay, this is what you need to do. Give me 2,000 words. Send it to me and we'll take a look at it and we'll review it and we'll send it back to you and we'll get it right. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. I'll keep failing forward until I get it right. Exactly. And that was the key. I just keep failing. I am not a big person when it comes to writing books. I'm not an author per se. I mean, we have a show called Bookish, but it was, inspired by, the fact that people need to read more and they need to write more. And we just wanted to be a part of that platform. And then Linda has been one of those people that said, hey, you know what? We have such a great mission of 5 million new authors around the world. I'm like, okay, we can do that, because 5 million people is not that much compared to 7 billion, 8 billion people in the world. So I always buy into the big visions, not the small ones.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And how can people get in touch with you if they're interested in connecting with you?
Oh, well, we have a mentoring group. It's a private mentoring group. It's called the Trendsetters Mentor Group. It's on Facebook, and you can be invited through a member. And it's a great opportunity for you to, number one, really get to know people. When I say get to know people, we don't have a lot of people posting, but what we do is we introduce people that are members to people who are doing things that are impacting other people. So each morning we have what they call a morning coffee. It's a video that's on YouTube from someone who either wrote a book or someone who has taken a journey, and it creates awareness to what we need to do to make changes in our lives. Because I learned early on is that it's what you listen to, what you become closest to, and what you started believing in. But if you have people listening, talking to you about negativity or giving you a perspective that's negative, you're going to think negative and you're going to see things from a negative eye. So what we want to do is we want people to wake up every morning and read or listen to something that's going to impact their life. And generally it's stories. If you share a story with someone that is impacting, your life, then they could see themselves through you. And maybe eventually they can give back and do the same thing everybody's doing in this collaboration, which is Wellness for Winners. It's really sharing your story and hoping that it impacts someone to not give up on their journey.
Well, thank you so much for being part of this journey with us. We're so happy that you submitted your chapter and that you joined us. Everyone go to wellnessforwinners.com and pick up your copy. Linda, was there anything else you wanted to?
I was doing something in the background there. I'm running the board, Sally.
You on the spot now.
She never called me up before, so I wasn't ready for that.
She was working.
But yeah, it just everybody just know that mentors, they really do matter. And I love what you were talking about, Daryl. You were talking about the GPS. A person who doesn't listen to their mentors, like a person who doesn't listen to the GPS, because they're successfully doing what you want to do. Now, if you find a mentor who's not successfully doing what you want to do, maybe that's not the right mentor. But it's really finding these mentors that can guide you and tell you, okay, put your foot here. Put your foot here and just keep moving forward. So, Daryl, I want to thank you so much for being part of this journey with us. The Wellness for Winners book, and then whatever else we have coming up, because Bookish Talk is an amazing program. It's every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern on E360 TV. Go check us out. I'm one of the co-hosts. I have a lot of fun over there. Sometimes
she does a great job.
Sometimes I do some really goofy things.
Let me give you credit, because I'm telling you, your vision of what you're doing along with Sally, I know you guys work together as partners, is therapeutic. I mean, I can honestly say, if you think about, if you go to a therapist, they want you to journal because they want you to put your thoughts in writing. And everybody who has shared their story, we all need therapists early on. My mother couldn't afford a therapist. So writing is therapy. And then reading is good for your brain and helps you live longer. We've learned that in our Bookish. But I want to encourage everybody, if you tune into Bookish, what you're going to find is you're going to find authors that are doing extraordinary things, but we're simplifying the process through action takers and simplifying it so that everyone can share their story, and it could be something that's affordable, but also you have mentors that will really care about your process and really make sure that you share the story that you want to share. And no one's pressuring you to go out and say something you don't want to say, or publishing something that you feel is private. What they want to do is they want you to decide on how far you want to go, and then they're here to take that journey with you. So, doing a great job. Kudos to you, and we look forward to you guys on E360 Bookish Talk on Friday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Is that a great commercial or what?
That is great. That was perfect.
Okay.
It benefits everybody.
That's right. Everybody
awesome.
wins.
Yeah, exactly. Daryl, thanks so much for being part of this. And we're going to bring up our next guest, Bryan Allen Smith, in just a second. But congratulations on your first book, to saying yes. You raised your hand, and now you are a #1 best-selling author. You will never not be a #1 best-selling author. Now let's shoot for the international. Okay, let's keep going, everybody.
I can tell my kids, huh? Tell my
yes,
wife.
exactly. Now you can tell your wife.
I can tell my wife now.
Exactly.
Well, she's watching right now, so she knows it's too late now.
Congratulations, wifey. Okay, we'll see you later, Daryl.
All righty.
I love that commercial. Hey, Bryan.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. I was watching one of your Facebook videos, and I just loved how fun you are. And so I was like, I get an opportunity to talk to this guy. I feel like you're a movie star, and I'm getting that person that's staring up at the movie star and getting an opportunity to talk to you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and I've thought that all day as I've been watching you guys on here. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, right? I mean, I do Facebook videos all the time just because what the heck, right? I tell people it doesn't matter. Just hit the button, go. It doesn't matter if you screw it up. Nobody's going to know. Just have fun.
Yeah, you do a great job. The thing is that I think here's my position on this is if I'm having fun doing the video, people are going to have fun watching the video. And I think it's just as simple as that. We get so serious. I remember my very first video. I was like, I'll just share this story briefly. Is this young man I know named Ryan. I've known him since the day he was born. He has severe cerebral palsy. And when he was about 30 years old, I think it was, he asked me if I would do a video for him. And I was like, okay, I will. Because I always said yes to him, no matter what he asked, except for the one time that he asked me to buy him a surround sound system. I had to draw the line, right? So he asked me, and I went ahead and did a video. And that very first video was literally Hi, Ryan. This is Linda. Here's your video that you wanted. I told you I'd do one for you. I was totally monotone. There was no excitement in my voice at all because I was so terrified, absolutely terrified. But I've gotten better. It's been after 5,000 videos. I hope you get a little bit better. But here it is. It's all about just going in and having fun. And I think that's what your videos exemplify. And you are with Pampered Chef. And so the one video I was watching there is you were, showing how to cook something. And it was just fun watching you. So I just wanted to throw that out there and let you know, people are watching you.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So let's see, on this journey here, we are Wellness for Winners. Your chapter title, From Fat to Fit. It starts with the mind. And you have this one quote in your chapter that I wanted to cover because I thought this was, the chapters are amazing, but we want to find like a certain quote that really means something to the author, right? That we can dive into. And this one really hit us. As my journey continued, I lost more weight and finally reached my goal of 185 pounds. I was loving life and finally living the life I deserved. I was on fire. I just love that. This really shares a lot about, who you are, what you're doing, and what you're all about. So share with us, like, what does this quote mean to you?
Yeah. So, my whole life, the word fat has just been something ingrained in my head, right? And as people read the chapter, they're going to hear and read a lot about how that journey started, right? But as I really think about the goal that I set for myself, it wasn't about a supplement I was taking. It wasn't about the way that I was going to eat every day. It wasn't about going to the gym. All those things were important, and all those things impacted the way that I achieved the results that I achieved. But I really had to change my mindset. And I set the goal for 185 pounds. And I was 350 pounds. And I keep this picture with me everywhere. This was me, right? I mean, this stays on the refrigerator. It stays on the bathroom mirror. It stays in my bag for work. I mean, I keep it in front of me because it's somewhere I don't want to go back to. And I don't know how I got there. I think back and I'm like, I love food. You, again, watch my live videos. You can see that I love food. But I over the years, it just, I kept gaining weight. So for me, it was, figure out a system that works for you, and don't stop until you're there, and just keep in your mind the fact that you want to achieve this. So it was awesome. It worked great. I still think about it every single day. And it's led me to so many wonderful opportunities to share my story. And, obviously we're here today because of that.
Yeah. So we're excited to have you as part of this journey. And why don't you share a little bit more about your chapter in the book?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm very thankful that my good friend Sherry Leopold invited me to be part of this collaboration. And, when she first said, "Hey, do you want to write a chapter in a book?" I said, I've been wanting to do that for like 30 years. And I have started and stopped and started and stopped. And I was going to write a cookbook, and I was going to write a self-help book. And I had all these great things. So I said, yeah, I would love to do it, but I don't think I can. And she was like, yeah, you can. And so, we talked through it, and I was like, it was that mindset thing, right? Mm-hmm. And I got past that. And so I just started writing, and I wrote my entire chapter in like an hour and a half. I mean, I just sat down and just the words came. And, the chapter really talks about my journey, Sally. It talks about, from the time I was very small and, struggled with weight all the way until about 7 years ago when I sort of figured it out. And I say sort of because I'm still learning every single day on this journey. I just want to, I really want to inspire people to be anything they want to be. And for me, it was to be fit and to really have that mindset to be able to achieve anything that I set my mind to. So while my story is a weight loss story, it really is much bigger than that. It's really about mindset and about thinking about the things that you want to accomplish and just creating a routine to be able to do it.
Yeah. So how did you go about shifting that mindset? Can you maybe share some tips or tools that you did in order to shift from that idea of who you were before to who you are now? What are some of the things that you had to shift in your mind to get to there?
Yeah, I mean, there were several, right? So, I think first and foremost, I don't want to give too much away because everybody needs to go buy the book. It's an amazing book with lots of us in it. But, I had to start with just telling myself, you got to get your rear end off the couch, because that's what I did. I would get up in the morning, and, I had a routine back then too, but it was get up in the morning and get ready for work, go through a drive-through somewhere, grab some food, work all day. On my way home, go through a drive-through again, land on the couch, do some work on the laptop, fall asleep on the couch, to finally roll out about 2 or 3 in the morning when I woke up, and go to bed and then start all over again. And one day I saw the picture that I shared a few minutes ago, and it was a picture that was taken at work. I was giving someone an award, and I saw that picture, and I was like, man, this is not me. Like, what the heck has happened to me, right? And so I remember I woke up the next day and I said, okay, today's going to be different. And I just, the best tip is just tell yourself, this is what I want to accomplish. So from day one, I sat down and said, this is my goal, and I don't know how the heck I'm going to achieve it. I don't know what the path, what this path is going to lead me to, and what the path even looks like that I'm going to be going down. But I know I've got to do something. So it's very cliche, but put one foot in front of the other, right? I started walking, and I started eating better, and I started taking a supplement that certainly helped, which then gave me the energy to get into the gym. And, from there, I started running a little bit. And, by the time I really, ended my initial, because I think about this in a couple phases, right? My first phase was getting to where I wanted to be. And when I ended that first phase, I was running 2 5Ks a day. I was running one in the morning before work, and I was running one in the evening after I got home from work. Like, that was my routine. And that, that got me to where I wanted to be. I don't still do that today because I made that choice, right? I'm accomplishing other goals. I'm doing other things now that still keeps me healthy, but is just a little different than what I did. So, again, the tip that I would really give to people is, just go out and create a plan, change your mindset. If you don't want to do something, you just have to reprogram your mind. You just have to tell yourself, I want to do something different, and don't let anything get in your way.
Yeah. It all starts with that one decision, right? You said that, I made that, I woke up the next day and I said, I'm not going to live this way anymore. And that's, that's kind of, you have that breaking point sometimes, or, you see a picture of yourself, and you look in the mirror and you say, wow, what happened? How did I get here? And so you instantly make that decision, and deciding it's cutting off all other possibilities. It's just making that decision to go in a totally different direction. Right. And I think that, when you get to a certain point in your life, that kind of happens. When we decide that we're going to make, and we're going to change, we're going to shift. And I think that's the hard part, because some people don't make that decision. Some people just, they continue sitting on the couch. So tell us a little bit about who you are, and what you do.
Yeah. So, man, I do so many things. I have my own business. My husband and I, we own a business called Allen Enterprises, where we do all sorts of fun things. I'm also a pampered chef. We talked about that. I'm also in corporate America. So I'm a district manager for a very large restaurant company. And so I support 6 restaurants in the Memphis, Tennessee area. But at the end of the day, really it's about having fun. It's about hoping to make a difference. And I think I tell people all the time, it's in my bio in the book, is, I wake up, and when my feet hit the floor, I always ask myself, what are you going to do today to make a difference? And it may not be a big difference, but there's going to need to be something in my day that I impact someone somewhere. So, as I think about that, it leads me to so many more things that I'm currently working on that I'm really excited for. And this book and this chapter that I wrote has really helped me think about how I can do that. It's all possible now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being part of this book, for joining us. And how can people get in touch with you if they want to connect with you after reading your chapter?
Yeah. So really easy. I've got a Facebook page that is, it's just Bryan Allen Smith and the number 2. Super easy to find. Also, I use the hashtag Live Awesome and the number 2 on almost everything I do. If you go out there, there's like 2,000 posts that has that hashtag, and I think about 1,900 of them are mine. So I do use that a lot. So that's the easiest way to get in touch with me and to connect with me. And like I said, we have a lot of fun on that public Facebook page.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being part of Wellness for Winners. We're excited to have you along on this journey with us. Everyone head over to wellnessforwinners.com and pick up your copy on Kindle and paperback. There you go. Yep.
I muted myself again. My dogs were going absolutely crazy. And it's because my husband's friend came over, but I thought our book arrived. And I went to check and it hadn't arrived yet. It's okay. My post office, I don't know, it might get delivered to the wrong house, which happens. I had something that was delivered from the IRS that went to my neighbors, and they didn't tell us about it. And it was like 6 weeks. This is different though, because I'm expecting the book. I was never expecting something from the IRS. Unless it's money, I don't care about it. But okay, so this has been a fabulous day. Started at 7 a.m. Pacific time. Here we are at 4 p.m. We got a few more people to interview. Our authors have been absolutely incredible. Hitting that #1 selling status, passing up Tony Robbins. And Arthur, we're coming after you. I think we're number 2 and Arthur's #1 in one of our categories. Yep. We're going to pass you up, Arthur. You just watch. I don't know who you are, but we're gunning for you. Okay, so Sally, we're going to bring up our next guest, who is Paige Davidson. And we're going to pull her up here and pull up her quote. And so we have a little bit of background noise there. Paige, do you hear it, Sally?
I have my earbuds on. I have my earbuds in.
Oh, they're not working, just so you know. We're hearing you from your computer, but it's okay. We're going to make it through it. Okay, we're going to make it through it.
Should I take them out?
Let's try that and see what happens. I'd like to see, because it's a lot of like background noise there. Can you hear me at all? Can you hear me now? She can't hear me now.
But now I don't hear you at all.
What were you saying, Sally?
I was going to say I'm going to head out to the after party, and you're going to.
Oh, okay.
You have to. You're going to be.
I'm on my own.
You're on your own for the last 3.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, make sure you put the link to the after party in our private chat there, so I can make my way over there.
I'm going to go do that now.
Okay, we'll see you in a bit.
It's great seeing you. Thank you, Linda. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, Sally.
Okay. Bye.
See you later, Sally. Have fun. Okay.
Hi, Linda.
Hello. It's good to see you. Mason is here to say hi too. Say hi to Mason. Hi. Okay, he's done.
Hi, Mason.
Paige, it's such an honor to be on this journey with you, from shattered to whole, the title of your chapter. And you and I have been on a journey together. It's been what? Has it been a year? I don't even think it's been a year yet.
It's just flown by, Linda. It just has been so amazing and so fun and so efficient and organized. It's just been wonderful.
It's funny. I love hearing that because that means that we're doing something right? Because on the back of behind the scenes, it's not really as efficient as everybody may think it is. But it doesn't matter what's going on here. It matters what's
you make it
going
look
on there.
Just easy as pie.
So would you say that we're effed up? Easy, fun, and fast?
You are effed up. I did see that. And I know exactly what you're talking about.
Easy, fun, and fast. That's right. Well, so Paige, so I met you in Clubhouse, and you were in a Clubhouse room on the stage, and you were talking about this thing that I had heard a little bit about, but the person I heard about it from was very thin, very fit, and had always been very thin and very fit. And you were talking about intermittent fasting. And I kind of thought it was, for skinny people. This is what my belief was, right? Because we were talking about beliefs a little bit earlier, someone else that we were interviewing, talking about beliefs, and it was my belief. And so when you started talking about how you had lost, you lost 110 pounds using intermittent fasting, I was like, I got to listen to this lady and see what this is all about. So I immediately went to Dr. Google and I looked it up. Intermittent fasting. What does this mean? And how do I do it? And I started that next day. I started my intermittent fasting journey. So I want to thank you for that. And you talk a lot about it. We don't have time to go into what you do talk about because there's a lot of information. So anybody wants to connect with Paige, please do that. But Paige, here's a quote from your chapter. Eventually, within 14 months of beginning intermittent fasting, I had lost 110 pounds. First of all, how did it feel to start that intermittent fasting journey?
Well, it was scary. It was scary to me at first. Intermittent fasting is not a diet, and a lot of people don't believe that, and I'm not sure why I'm so dark. But can you see me okay?
Yeah, I can see you.
I feel like I'm in a cave. I've got this ring light right here.
Come out of the dark into the light. Come on, you do it.
Intermittent fasting is not a diet, and diets start out easy because you're excited and you're motivated, and many diets you lose a lot at first, fast. Intermittent fasting is the opposite. It starts out kind of more difficult, but then the longer you do it, the easier and easier and easier it gets. And, you can debate whether it's hard, how you feel in your mind. But I felt when I first started, because of my history of doing diets for 40 plus years, weight loss surgery that didn't work, I just felt like I was starting something else. I didn't believe at first it really wasn't a diet. So I was intimidated. I was a little scared, but I jumped right in. And I found it to be a miraculous thing that had occurred in my life, because I had some issues with inflammation and I had a lot of pain in my feet because of plantar fasciitis. I don't know if any of our listeners and viewers can relate. These are obesity and inflammation driven conditions, plantar fasciitis and Achilles tendonitis in my feet. And I was in pain. So I jumped right in. But within 2 weeks, my pain had been reduced so much that I wasn't limping anymore. And so it was a miracle to me, and I kept going.
That's so fascinating. Do you know, off the top of your head, what percentage of people begin intermittent fasting just for weight loss? Do you have any idea what that number might be?
I don't, but I think most people that start intermittent fasting do start for weight loss.
Yeah,
and
like another diet.
Yeah.
Another diet. Right.
I certainly needed to lose weight. I was back up to 250 pounds. At that time, I'd sworn off all diets. No diets. I was never dieting again. And I still feel that way. And when I first heard about intermittent fasting, I thought, oh, that's just another diet. I don't believe that it's not really a diet. But I was so desperate to get out of pain. I thought, I'm going to do this, not to lose weight, because I know when I stopped doing it, which of course I assumed I would at some point, I would gain back anything I'd lost plus more. That had always been my experience. But by the time I really healed my conditions, my foot conditions, it was about 6 months. And I was 100% healed. But I had also just happened to have lost about 55 pounds. Not dieting, not weighing, not measuring, not journaling, not counting micros, macros, calories, any of that. And I thought, this really is a healthy lifestyle. It really is not a diet. It's the first thing I've ever done that is truly sustainable for life. I'm not going to quit doing it. I don't have to fall off because this is sustainable. And so it was a miracle. When I lost that 110 pounds, I cured my foot conditions. I cured my obstructive sleep apnea. I got compliments from strangers about my skin, how beautiful my skin was. Nobody can believe that I'm 59 years old, because intermittent fasting is like aging in reverse.
I like that.
It's the same with you. You practice intermittent fasting and you look like you're about 30.
Thank you. Tell me more. Tell me more.
30. You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. It's been an interesting journey. I would say that I fell off, but as you said the other day in one of the clubhouse rooms, is that you never fall off. It just means that you have extended your fasting window, is all it is. And so what I love about that is it's mindset. And there was something that a doctor said to you before you were getting ready to do your bypass surgery, right? And
yes,
that was
weight loss surgery. Yes.
What was he? Yeah. What did he say?
Yeah, he looked at me before surgery and he said, Paige, I can operate on your stomach, but I cannot operate on your brain. And I felt so frustrated because it's like, on the one hand, I knew exactly what he meant. And on the other hand, I didn't know at all what he meant, because I knew there had to be something going on between my ears, or I wouldn't have had this issue all of these years. But I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was wrong with my thinking, or I would have fixed it. And there was no really help given with that. Weight loss surgery is a wonderful tool to utilize, and that works. But if you don't fix all of the mindset issues that you have going on, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but I think there are so many thousands of women like me who have yo-yo dieted and they can't figure out what the problem is. Why can't I just lose weight and keep it off? What is going on? And so intermittent fasting was not only a vehicle to be able to get healthier and to lose weight, but it gave me the space during that fasting time. It gave me the space to think about my mindset and think about what was happening and what was going on, and start to discover those mindset issues that were holding me back. Those were the things that were tying me up and holding me back.
It's interesting for me. Yeah, because when I started doing the intermittent fasting, for me, it wasn't hard. And I think it's just because I've done a lot of different types of fasts throughout my life. It's been, for the last 30 something years since I met my husband, because he's done fasts and things. So I had already been introduced to that world of fasting. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's like, I'm that kind of person that I just need to make a decision, and I have to decide that this is what I'm going to do. And then I go do it. But getting to that decision is sometimes what the challenge is for me. Like, do I really want to give up that? It's kind of interesting. And so we're working on a book right now called Action Takers Who Gained by Losing. And this is, intermittent fasting stories. Yeah. And what I want to know from you is like, what did you gain by losing all that weight? Because this book is all about like, what did you gain by losing all that weight, or by changing your mental attitude?
If you would have told me 3 years ago that I would lose 110 pounds and that was going to just be a footnote to my story, not the headline, I would have said you were crazy. But the headline to my story is all of the amazing things that I've gained. I've gained physical health, but I have also gained true holistic wellness through intermittent fasting. I was shattered when I wrote my chapter for, Wellness for Winners. I thought, how did I feel? What was I going through? I was just shattered. My health was shattered. Physically, I was a mess. I was overweight. My BMI was out of control. My weight was horrible. I had these inflammation and obesity-driven conditions. I mean, I was just a mess. But emotionally, I was a mess. My emotional wellness was not good. My mental wellness was not good. We don't live our lives in little capsules. All of our lives all the parts of our lives are integrated. And my health was not in alignment at all. And that's one of the most amazing things that I got from practicing intermittent fasting, was because I thought it was just going to be about the physical. But my spiritual health improved so much, so greatly through practicing intermittent fasting. And again, having that space, that fasting time and space to think and to pray and to reflect. And, and I prayed about this, and my spiritual health was one of the first places I started with Christian counseling. And then I found the intermittent fasting, and it all worked together. I gained freedom from food obsession. I really believe that I'm a person who deals with food addiction. And, you know, some people say there's no such thing. And I will tell you there absolutely is such a thing. And by fasting, I've been cured from that food addiction, that food obsession. That's another amazing thing that I've gained. I've gained peace and freedom and contentment in my life that I never have had before.
Yeah, and I think that if you don't have an addictive sort of personality, it might not make a lot of sense. And I come from a long line of addiction. You know, my dad was an alcoholic, and my parents both were, you know, chain smokers, and my dad was a gambler. He wasn't a winner, but he was a gambler. You know, and it's like he just had to keep going because I know I'm going to hit the next one, right? So I have a lot of those propensities that are kind of, I think some of that's hereditary, and I can feel it. Like I can feel like, so when we go to Vegas, I only take cash. I'll never take a card again, because I have charged up my credit cards to the point that I didn't have any money. As a single mother, I did that, you know. So some of the things I did, you know, that it's those addictions. And so the food addiction is kind of along the same lines. There's this urge that will just grab hold of you. And next thing you'll know, you're like, what did I just, you go into a trance,
It is
sort of
a
trance.
compulsion. It is a compulsion.
Yeah.
And, you know, I would be eating and feel miserable and think, why am I doing this? I don't even want to do this, but I could not stop. And I suffered with that my whole life.
Yeah.
And I am cured of that through the practice of intermittent fasting and through changing my habits and through changing my routines. There's so much more to intermittent fasting than just when you eat your food.
Yeah, definitely.
It is deep. There are many levels to it.
So you need to get in touch with Paige. You can find her at Fasting with Paige, Paige, fastingwithpaige.com. Check her out, connect with her. If you've been a yo-yo dieter your whole life, you're somebody who is looking for something different that, you know, you're like, I don't really understand this intermittent fasting. Maybe I should just at least learn about it. Reach out to Paige, because she will tell you all about it. She's in Clubhouse. We're doing a room most Monday mornings at 7 a.m. Pacific time, you know, just so people can get an idea of what it is all about. And it really, for me, I haven't lost any weight on it, and that's not what it's about. And that's why my mindset is shifting into, you know, this is not a diet. This is a lifestyle. This is, you know, for changing different things in my body, and also getting control over my food, because I was, definitely, I would be eating. And while I'm eating, I'm saying I shouldn't be eating this, but it's like, it just keeps, you know, getting, I don't know, this keeps doing that.
It's like it's got a mind of its own. But before we close out with our time, I want to just thank you, Linda, for the opportunity to be in wellness, a collaborating author in Wellness for Winners. You know, we've worked together on a few projects, and when I lost that weight and when I gained all of my wellness and health, I just prayed. I just told God, you know, I want to help as many people as I can who have had my same issues and problems. I want to show them what you've shown me, what you've shared with me, and I want to help people, but I don't know how. I have no clue how to do that. So I just said, God, you're going to have to figure out a way, because I don't know. And he did. You know, he brought you, you know, into my life, and the amazing work that you do, and the wonderful collaboration books, which have been a very, just a wonderful vehicle for me to share my story in various ways to help as many people as possible.
Yeah, definitely. It's been my honor and pleasure to know you as well, because we've got this book, you know, Action Takers Who Gained by Losing, coming up as well. By the way, we are looking for authors if you want to participate in this one, if you're an intermittent faster and want to share your story. It's not about losing the weight. It's about what you gained by losing that food addiction, by losing whatever it is that you lost. Like, we're not going to control your story or anything, but we are looking for authors for that one. And Paige, it's been truly my pleasure just, you know, being with you and learning from you as well. And, you know, just us being on this journey together. And I got to meet you in person several months ago. Gosh, it's like 6 months ago or so. And I look forward to
that was so awesome.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring up our next guest. But Paige, thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you. Again, go to Fasting with Paige, Paige, if you want to learn more about intermittent fasting and how Paige, who is an intermittent fasting coach, can help you to gain more by losing. Paige, we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, Nalo, hello. Are we
Hi.
able to see you?
Yes, can you hear me? Can you see me?
It's really, let me see. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you.
Oh, mercy. How do I
We
fix
get five times the joy. I love it. I love it. I wonder, are you on your computer or on your phone?
on my phone?
That's really odd. I've never seen that before. I saw you go out and in and out and in. You kept trying to fix it. Do you see yourself as like a green Martian?
No, I just see myself regular.
That's really weird. I'm not sure what's happening there. I'm going to ask Michael. He's in the studio back there. Michael, do you see her as green going? You shake your head yes or no? Do you see her as a normal person? Yes? No? Okay. Well, let's do it anyway. Okay. So people can't see you, but we can hear you. So let's do this. I'm honored and blessed to have you here with us, on the Action Takers Publishing, our debut of this book, Wellness for Winners. And I want to thank you so much for being part of this chapter, this chapter of my life, sharing Wellness for Winners with everybody. And we have this quote of yours from the book. First of all, your chapter is titled, "You Are Uniquely Designed and Built for a Purpose," which I love that. I so believe that. She's disappeared. Okay, well, what we're going to do, Michael, you ready? We just figure things out as we go. Hello, Michael. How are you tonight?
Hey, I'm doing great, Linda. How are you today?
Oh man, I'm doing great. I'm so honored to have everybody. It's been a blessing, just to get to know everybody. And I'm going to change something here really quick. So hold on a second.
Sure.
Because I had it set for Nalo, but she wasn't able to be seen. Congratulations, Michael. You are a #1 best-selling author.
Thank you so much.
How does that feel?
I feel so blessed to be a part of this opportunity. It's really great.
Did you ever expect that to happen in your life?
Honestly, no. Like if you would have asked me a few years ago that everything would work its way to this point, I would never have believed, to be honest. But like I said, it's such a blessing, and I feel so grateful for this opportunity.
What was it that made you decide to jump into this book?
Well, I was a part of the One Habit group with Evan and Sherry as well. So when this opportunity popped up, I just thought, this is right up my alley.
Okay, so with the One Habit book, you had a few less words to write.
Yes,
a few less. And so now we're like, okay, you're going to write 2,000 words. Were you like, oh my God, that's impossible? Or were you like, yes?
No, I was really excited, to be honest with you, because I'm working on my own personal book as well. So the more I can get out there, the better.
That's awesome. I love it. Now, in your chapter, Overcoming the Darkness Within, oh my gosh, I think that probably the majority of us have some darkness within, right? And you say, the black clouds surrounding my being just seemed to keep getting darker. It felt as if my spirit had been shattered into 1,000 pieces. You want to share with us, what was that you're referring to?
So the darkness or the black cloud that I was referring to was my depression. So depression is something I've struggled with for a good majority of my life. And, now that I've been able to overcome it, I really, my goal is to help people in that aspect of their life as well.
How was it that you overcame it?
Well, that took a lot of work, to be honest with you. It took years of basically trying to reprogram my mind into, reprogramming my thoughts, the way I live my life, my lifestyle, my habits. There is so much that went into overcoming my depression and really, finding wellness and implementing that into my life.
What would you say to somebody listening right now who's hearing you talking about, moving through your depression and changing your life? What's something like a piece of advice you would give them if they're sitting there saying, I don't think I can do this? Like, what would you say to them?
Just to never give up. It took me almost, I can remember I had depression as a young kid, and it went up until my 20s. So it took me a long time to figure it out. So my piece of advice would be to just never give up hope and to keep pushing forward always. Like there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I promise you that.
I love that. And there really is. There really is. We just have to keep searching, right? Keep searching for that light.
Absolutely. And, with lifestyle choices such as like diet, exercise, like I said, the way that you think about yourself in the world, and there's so much that goes into all of that, it really makes a difference.
Now, when you said when you were a kid, you knew you had depression. How did you know that that's what it was?
Well, at the time, I really didn't know that's what it was,
Okay.
But with hindsight and looking back on my life, I know that's exactly what it was. I struggled with a lot of different, emotional issues and so much throughout my childhood. So, like I said, looking back, I can definitely tell it was depression.
Okay. Yeah, I know I had a time in my life where I looked back and I was like,
right.
Wow, I didn't really realize, because, we're just living it.
Absolutely.
Right. And we don't really know that everybody's different until we get to a certain age of awareness, right, about what other people are going through and what their lives are. And so it can be, let me ask you, because I would say what it could be, but I'd like to ask from you is like, what did that feel like when you made that discovery that, wow, I've been depressed?
Yeah. It's been a journey, looking back, like, it was all essential though, because like it led me to this point that I'm at right now. That's how I like to look at things, like everything that we experience helps us grow and to evolve and to essentially make us who we are. So, as tough as it was at the time, I am so grateful for it, as weird as that may sound.
Were you always that way, or is this a new development in your mindset?
Yeah, so this has become a new development in my mindset. So about 4 years ago or so, I herniated a disc in my back, and it was one of the most intense, terrifying, yet beautiful experiences of my life. What seemed like the worst thing that could possibly ever happen to me ended up being a blessing, because it helped me change my perspective. It helped me, focus my life or direct my life towards health and wellness, and really just like I said, change my perspective on everything.
And how has that now changed your life? Like, what are you doing now? What are you doing now that's different?
Just the way that I live my life, to be blunt. I was not taking care of myself. I wasn't exercising. I was thinking poorly of myself, of the world. I was negative, pessimistic, if you will. And now everything's changed. I've put wellness at the forefront of my life, and I'm running with it. And it feels great. Feels great.
It feels great. So
Absolutely.
Now this book, what has it meant for you? Like you were, you signed up to be in the one book. It got kind of pulled away. And then we said, we're going to do it. Right. And then title changed to Wellness for Winners. And then now here we are on launch day. You're #1 best-selling author. We're shooting for international. We're shooting to hit, to pass up Tony Robbins and all his categories. We're shooting, we have these goals. Right. And
Absolutely.
so today you woke up and you saw that, oh my gosh, we're a bestseller. How did that feel?
It felt amazing. There really aren't words other than amazing, incredible. It's like I said, it's been truly a blessing to be a part of this opportunity, to work with you and Sherry and Evan and the whole crew. It's really awesome.
Oh, that's so good. I love it because, this is your first book?
Yeah,
absolutely. Your first book. I love being part of, for everybody, of course, but the first one, because I remember my first one. I remember how, for me, I was terrified, but I remember how exciting it was that when I went and I added bestseller to my bio.
Right.
I've never been a reader. I've never been a writer. How did this happen? You know? And so that's part of the process of being, being along with other people. You're collaborating on something and creating something together. And I think that's really the beauty of this journey here. And I'm excited to have you on this and see what we do together, in future endeavors. And so what are you up to now? What's going on with your life now?
Well, right now I'm currently working on my own book as well. So that's taking a good portion of my free time up. But I'm also starting a life coaching business. And I'm hoping to do some mentoring and some speaking here in the near future.
Oh, awesome. Well, you're doing some right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just in a different way, right?
Yeah,
in a different
exactly.
way. So we have with our book, we have a nonprofit that 100% of the net proceeds goes to called Girls on the Run. And it's an organization, nonprofit organization that helps girls basically to get on that right path. Because a lot of times in childhood, we don't have the right, I don't say the right, but we don't have guides in our life that can really put us on the right path. And so we're super excited to be able to have this as our nonprofit. Wellnessforwinners.com. Everybody go there. Get your copy of the book. We're still number 2. We just got bumped from number 1 to number 2 in one of the categories. So we need to bump up those sales so that we can get that number 1, get back up there. It's been really an amazing journey, Michael. What do you have to share with our audience, like a parting words, that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Let's see.
Caught you off guard.
Yeah, you did. Absolutely did. You absolutely did. I just want to thank everybody for all the support for this book and for everything else. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Evan. Thank you, everybody. I mean, and God bless.
Awesome. Well, how can people get in touch with you? I have this, mstanley25.
Yep. So you can reach out to me on Facebook. That's probably going to be the easiest way at the moment. I'm currently working on my website, so hopefully I'll have that up and running here soon.
Yeah, that'll be great because, being a speaker, definitely want to have that up there. And now, guess what? You can add number 1 best-selling author.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And we're shooting for that international. I'm still waiting for stats to come in internationally. I don't see any yet. It's just not even ranking yet, right, at all. So we don't even have something to look at. So I'm looking for that. But when that hits, I will definitely be letting you all know, because then you'll be the international one. Number 1 best-selling author. Which
we'll get there. I know it.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you do, and congratulations on your shift, and just moving into this different place in your life where you're in control, and you're just making it happen. You're putting yourself out there and just going for it. I love it. So excited for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Linda.
You're welcome. Thanks, Michael, for being part of this. I'm going to go ahead and send you down. And, again, thanks for being part of what we are putting together here and sharing your story, because your story is very impactful and is going to change somebody's life. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Whoa, what a day. Oh my gosh. This was such a fabulous day. Nalo kept trying to get in and she wasn't able to. She just disappeared again. So unfortunately, we weren't able to bring her up. But I just want to thank all the authors for being part of this journey with us. Women action takers. I'm used to saying that because it's been Women Action Takers for years, but Action Takers Publishing, here we are publishing this book, many, many other books, putting everybody's stories out into the world. Not only do we do collaboration books, but we also do solo books. So if you have a solo book that you're wanting to publish, but you're not really sure how to do it and you want somebody to help you, please reach out to me because we can make that happen. Now, we mentioned several of our other books along the journey today. If you want to join us in one of our future books, we have Fabulous After 50 with Sherry Leopold, who is in this book. Paige Davidson, we just had her on the show. She has a book called Action Takers Who Gained by Losing. We had Laura Sharp Waits on earlier, and she is heading a book called Action Takers Who Are Thriving After Cancer. So if you've experienced cancer and you want to be part of that book, if you are an intermittent faster and want to be part of Gained by Losing, or if you are 50, and you're fabulous, join us in that book. We're just looking forward to sharing your story with the world, because here's the one thing I've learned is through sharing our stories, we have the possibility to impact somebody's life in a positive way. I remember the first time that I made that discovery is I was in a collaboration book called Footsteps of the Fearless. This was back in 2016. And then in 2017, after facing a fear every single day for an entire year, my mentor said, I should write a book. And so I kind of hem and hawed over it, because who wants to read my story? My story doesn't have any value. It doesn't matter. And so he was like, no, you need to write a book, because who breaks through a fear every single day? And I was like, what's the big deal? I just did something, not everybody does it, but what's the big deal? Who's going to want to read about it? So I did. I wrote it because as Daryl mentioned earlier, he talked about mentors matter, and my mentor has helped me to change my entire life. My mindset has completely changed because of my mentor. Well, he wouldn't take credit, but he told me the things I should do, and I followed his tutelage, and I'm doing them, right? So I wrote the book, The Year of Fears. I put it out there. 3 months later, only 3 months after I put it out, I was attending this event. There were about 300 people in attendance. And this one woman came running over to me from the other side of the hall. And she's like, Linda Sunshine, Linda Sunshine. She's just yelling my name. And I'm like, who is this weirdo running over to me? She's going to accost me or something. I had no idea what was going on. So she got to me. She said, oh my God, I bought your book, The Year of Fears. I read the first 14 pages, and I've already broken through 5 fears. That was the moment I said, she's the one I wrote the book for. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, because our stories can make a huge impact on somebody's life. If we don't share it out with the world, it's not going to make an impact. So we got to put it into print. We got to put it out there. I have countless stories of this with just our collaboration books, of how the stories inside of the collaboration books have changed people's lives. So if you want to be part of this, you don't have to write the whole book. As you've heard many of the authors mention, you guys made it seamless. It was easy. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. All I had to do was write a chapter, and I submitted. You guys did all the work. That's what we do. We are effed up, man. We are easy, fast, and fun. EFF. I feel weird kind of saying effed up, but whatever. It's what it is. It's EFF, easy, fast, and fun. And it's very important for us to make sure that your journey through our publishing process is fast, fun, and easy for you. So if you want to be part of that, go to actiontakersbooks.com. Join us in one of our collaboration books. Or if you want to have us publish your solo book, go ahead and reach out to me, Linda, Lynda, at womenactiontakers.com. Let's get it. Let's get your story out there. We are ready to help you to share your story with the world, so that you can make the impact that you are meant to make. Everybody, thank you so much for being part of our launch party. This has been a fabulous day. So excited to see what happens behind the scenes there. We're going to go to an after party now and have a lot of fun. We'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye now.